Hey, Bri, doesn't it suck that the boss is always over our shoulder when we're trying to talk?
Jay, he should be entertained by us. Let's get out of here and finish this conversation.
All right, as long as it's not work related.
Jay,
Birthday B!
how's it going?
God, I don't think I've ever been better.
Yeah, me
good
too.
stuff.
Me too. I want to welcome everyone to the Work Related Podcast.
We are the delayed, related by work on Twitter in many ways.
Yep.
Good to be back.
Yes, it is. We've been somewhat spotty. I wouldn't say spotty. We took a hiatus. How about
I think,
that?
probably last Twitter thing I said it was like trying to pat myself on the back for doing good deeds. Finally got my stepdad's shit out of the storage.
Yeah.
Had to be one of these fools. How many times can you look back in your memory and see like a U-Haul truck on the road?
Yeah.
You're just doing your regular shit. You get up nice and early, so you probably see more of them than me.
Oh, yeah.
But I was one of these clowns that had to be in a U-Haul truck in the middle of the day, fucking sweating my ass off, putting beds together.
Yeah.
By the time the whole thing was over and it couldn't go any smoother, my wife is still mad. The next day, she was still mad.
Really?
Like, how are you so mad? We never have to do this again. She's like, I could have used...
It's done and over with.
I could have used a little bit more thanks. And I'm like, what do you want? The fucking, like, he's Dutch, first of all. He's like Verstappen. You get no emotion out of this guy. But anyway, so that was part of the delay.
Yeah.
I had to let you down, but you were in the middle of your own shit.
Oh, yeah. Shit was going on.
But you still had a half a cookout.
I did.
Yeah?
I did. We had a half a cookout. There was like 40-ish people there.
You had a whole big, that I was going to get to go to, like a whole big 100-person party
Yeah.
at a public space by the
Yeah.
escarpment. The rain delayed. Good call.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tough call. I've
Yeah.
done it for golf where it's like, oh man, I hope it doesn't rain when I want a picnic on the weekend. That
Yeah.
never happens, right?
It worked out, right?
But yeah, the weather people were right.
We had good food. We had good times. Yeah.
Half
a lot
the
of
kids.
kids. Yeah, it was like half the kids that were there. They just spent the whole time in the pool.
Nice.
So they weren't running around or anything, and all the adults were just chilling.
I thought you were totally cut off when you said you were doing something at your at the in-laws. I thought, oh, it's just like a small family.
Yeah.
I was so happy to hear it turned into a big party, man.
No, that was small family. that was small.
But you're going to try to do it again. Good luck on you.
We're gonna try to do a bigger thing because people forget what it's like to be around a bunch of people.
For my own therapy, I wanted to get this done when I was doing all that shit last week. I was like, oh man, if I wake up early, and that's funny to you, if I pick up the truck by 10.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, you'd have the whole thing done by then, right?
Oh, Jay, we'd be home.
We had, because it's an old folks home, they have hardly any elevators that fucking work, and they have all these walkers. It's funny when you get there at like lunchtime, like there's a whole traffic jam of people going for lunch. They have to fucking schedule it and all this shit. And so, but it was working out, but I was so exhausted. I was like, oh man, I got to text him and tell him I can't do it.
Mhm.
And you kind of knew it was probably, I don't know how much of you thought it could happen last week.
I had a low expectation of it.
You had a lot. That's what I'm trying to get at. You had a lot to do.
Yeah.
It was more my fault than you, but here we are.
It was both. We'll take 50-50.
Out of every other podcast that we've done like probably 2 podcasts before this podcast actually started.
Yeah.
You got some new shit downstairs. Your TV is banging.
Isn't it?
We could have just stared at that TV for hours before we came up here.
Really nice.
Oh man, you're treating yourself well.
It's even better in the dark.
Oh yeah, no
like
doubt.
the
I told you you should get
nighttime.
blackout curtains. That was the first thing.
I
It's
might
like,
get blackout curtains for the living room part.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, for that big window.
It's just in the day when I don't watch TV sometimes I like the light, but we'll figure it out.
We had a so I know you're not a big celebration guy.
No.
I don't want to fucking like change subject, like, but it is your birthday. What's even funnier is episode 86.
Yeah.
You were born in 86.
Oh yeah, I am born in 86.
That's hilarious.
Holy.
Like,
So we're recording episode 86 on my birthday.
that was one of the few things I was trying to keep in my body. You were talking so much about work shit that I don't blame you wanting to talk about. But the part about the bullying me into being more in love with our work or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You were frustrated about how they don't love you enough,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Right? Righteous, like you righteously had it. Right?
Yeah.
That's nothing to do. This is a whole different topic about celebrating. But they'll get back to that. You've you hate celebrating shit.
Yeah.
Like say fuck Valentine's, Christmas, but you for sure had your birthday celebration in mind buying yourself that new TV a few weeks ago. It's like you might as well. Your birthday's kind of coming up.
Well, you want to know the story about it?
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if we've mentioned on the show, it's 86 episodes, can't remember, but we've talked about OLEDs before.
You've talked about tech shit. This is going to bore Tammy if we talk about this too much.
Yeah, but we've talked about OLED TVs before and me wanting to buy one. Like
Yeah.
we know that this was like something I wanted to obtain.
Yeah, short story. You
Right?
changed your TV over a year ago when it broke, and you were thinking of really upgrading couldn't justify it.
Yeah.
So you got to still bang in brand new Sony.
Yeah.
I guess, but back you were still chosen for the best TV, and it was so OLEDs came back in your life for no reason at all that I can see. But
well, it's always been on my mind, but like just the weekend, so the day after the party or the day before the party, I just turned to Celine and I said, you know what? I'm getting the TV this week. When we come back, I'm buying the freaking TV. And I think she thought I was joking, but I said, yep, we're doing it 100%. So
you've kept this OLED obsession to yourself.
I've told you.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you haven't been going off about it.
But not recently.
Not like the podcast studio.
Not recently, right?
You have way more obsessions in my mind than this.
Yeah, not recently. I think the last time I was obsessed about it was when we were switching over TVs.
Yeah, I remember.
So we went through this whole thing, and I was deciding between this Samsung and this Sony, and the Sony was like $4,000. Yeah. And the Samsung was like, the Samsung
ice bug or something,
right? The Samsung was a little more than half of that, so I just couldn't justify the Samsung to the Sony price, even though the Sony was better, right?
Yeah, I remember. I would remember it. But
then I got the TV, and I was trying to justify: is it that whole freaking $2,500 plus price over the TV we already have?
Yeah.
And
every time you looked at your TV, you would think of that?
Every time.
In a tech way?
Even today, I was thinking like
the whole time. So that's jumping ahead. But
well, no, sometimes I enjoy it, but sometimes I sit there and I wonder, like, is this worth?
That's hilarious.
Like, is it worth a 26? It is beautiful. It is. There's no doubt about it. It's a great.
Of course, it's
TV.
not really worth it.
Yeah.
Is it worth paying $250,000 to go to a sub to see the Titanic?
No,
but it's okay.
But it's beautiful.
That would be the last thing I would think about watching your old TV.
Yeah,
your old TV made me feel guilty. Like that
really?
thought I put into my TVs.
Oh,
I would show you my beautiful house and thinking, and you'd be looking at this fucking bitch ass TV he has. I'm like, it covers the whole wall, but I'm like, I've never even thought of how. Like, I've never seen a TV that was as thin as an Air Mac book.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Or AirBook Mac. Like, it was fucking.
It's very thin.
It's insane.
It is. That TV is last year's Samsung's top model.
Okay, but who cares how thin it is? You were trying to find the best scenes.
Oh,
you went to space.
Beautiful.
You went to the savannah.
Man.
You were showing
all over the place.
I told you. You even said like because one of the best things I just seen was Avatar on my bitch ass TV.
Started watching it.
That'll be. I'm coming over. I'm making you put it on. Yeah. When Tammy comes here to celebrate the kid's birthday,
let's do it.
She's overwhelming. Your house is so pristine for some reason right now. I don't know if it's from building that beautiful Lego you built.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was that part of your birthday? You're a liar. You love celebrating your birthday. You love the fact it's 86 episodes.
I love celebrating my birthday.
That's
I love
when you
celebrating
exist.
certain things.
Yeah, it's fun to.
Yeah.
I think it's more effort to not celebrate.
Yeah.
Some
things.
What do you mean? You hate being forced into celebration type of thing?
I think I don't really
or they don't be justified. You don't think Valentine's justifies being like, I'm just bringing that up as a bullshit vacation or holiday.
I don't think Valentine's Day justifies
I get it.
Celebration.
I get it. You just think like, I'll buy you flowers when I want or something like that.
Because then it comes to this expected thing. Like this is the expectation on February 14th that you get me a gift of love. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, it's not so much to the point where a lot of people cliche say that, why would I celebrate Valentine's Day when I can celebrate any other time of day, any other day in the year? And I'm not that far. I'm just saying, like, why do I have to do it when you tell me to do it?
No, but it's not, it's more fun to participate in things. I get it. Right? Like, it's more, that's why I hate going to football, cheering against I won't take the Dolphins in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Cincinnati play another team and cheer with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because you get shit thrown at you. You know what I mean? It's more fun to celebrate a win or whatever. You get consoled in a loss.
But at the same time, we had this conversation on this episode, which I remember, Take the Christ Out of Christmas. It just becomes like this whole like a presentation. Like, stores change on Valentine's Day. Stores change on Christmas.
Is it like commercializing love? Right? Like they're celebrating, like
capitalizing on love.
Yeah.
How about that one?
Yeah. Well, they do lots of things.
Of course.
Like, I get it. I don't want to participate, but it's more fun. Like, you would have got a TV like this anyway. I'm just fun that it's
for
around your
sure.
birthday. We've
For
talked about
sure.
the other TV. It had to happen.
Yeah.
You were using the excuse that broke down, and you like got a great deal from Sony, worked out. But you love like TVs are that's why I just enjoy. Like, why wouldn't I want the best TV?
Yeah.
And I just like my eyes aren't as good as you know, or whatever. Like, but it was it's fun to sell. Like in this way, you're just like in my time justifying. You're adding your birthday to this. Like I don't know.
Well, this was never part of my birthday.
I know
TV.
it's not. I know really
Don
it's not.
Julio was definitely part
See,
of
but
my
you did that
birthday.
anyway, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Today's fun.
That was
86 is fun.
Yeah.
Like it's fun.
Yeah.
Like to just go, it's just another day.
My
You're
birthday
trying
is
too hard.
My birthday is celebrate.
Yeah, and I know that. That's why you're a enigma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I
you
like
play in
it.
these things. Like, but the fun part is the expectation. Like that's like the whole Christ out of Christmas. They're taking a really serious subject and fucking with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like love really, like you wouldn't like who. Oh man, like it's when I'm not talking about friends of yours that like are just like maybe moving out and doing like it's a whole world that you know about that they're just newly discovering.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and when it's almost like hard to, it's like you have kids. It's like I don't really talk about what it's like to have kids and don't have them. It's like, oh, you don't really know. Like I don't care about tax breaks or whatever comes with kids. Like that's a whole world I don't know about.
Yeah.
So, but you've already known about other things like that. So it's funny, like his expectations are going to change. Like Kevin's never had the expectation of real bills.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like good luck finding yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like good luck not watching TV in the summer when you have lots of bills to pay for.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like justifying like really having a job, you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know, right? Like it's not, it's just it's just like be careful what you wish for. Like the expectation. Don't get lost in that expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't think it's being forced, but I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun to add the birthday. Like having the fancy tequila was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
What do you like? It had a long aftertaste.
It did.
That was a long time coming. Like never mind expectations.
Yeah.
Like how long have you been thinking about drinking the Don Julio 142 that we or 1942?
Long time.
It's good, man.
A long time. Yeah. I think when it comes to tequila more so than most other liquors, I think whiskey is probably like Scotch is like in the same kind of vein, you know, where you try more. There's more of a variety of Scotch.
I get what you're saying.
But like you try more, and fucking Scotch is expensive. Scotch and bourbon, Jay, you can get like freaking a Mickey for like $40, and you're like, what the hell?
I bet you that's bigger than tequila, but it's
For
like it's in that same realm. I know what you're talking about.
Like
I'm not in that world at all.
Like the wine, like wine's the connoisseur type. Nobody connoisseurs vodka.
That's hilarious. They do. No,
But
they
those
do.
guys are losers.
No, they do. The same with the gin. Like you just don't think about it until you do.
Yeah, that's true.
You introduced me to the tequila one. You just did Lego. You used to be like fucking all kinds of things. I'm gonna
Lego connoisseurs.
Oh, no, that's one of those people who do that Lego Masters thing. This was a whole new Lego discovery that I was fucking. I'll forget about talking about it if I don't do now. We just brought up Lego.
Yeah.
Is that I think you can go on the website and just get like blueprints of any creation.
Yeah.
And they have like just go get this many blue bricks, go get this many. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like that didn't even dawn on me.
That they would do that.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
like never
great.
mind the kits they put together. You could probably get some imagination.
You want to build this?
Yeah, like you want to build like the CN Tower or like a box fan or like a
Yep.
record player, like whatever, right? Like you could just have, and it's somebody's already decided it and put it on there.
Well,
Well, what a good idea.
Do you know about
You're not limited to the
whole
kits.
Lego ideas thing?
I don't know, probably not.
Okay, so like that's where like the stuff like the piano comes in. The foosball table was a Lego ideas.
It's like public voted or something.
Yeah, essentially.
way.
So what happens is there's these Lego people who's out there in the
Lego
world like me
masters.
and you, Lego masters, and they create any of these things and then they put it on the Lego Ideas website.
So somebody built a foosball table.
Yes. By
No.
themselves, with off the shelf parts. And then
love
they
it.
put it up there and you vote. So every year you vote, and in the top, once you make 10,000 votes, you get into like this upper tier. And then, so I've been seeing it for a while because there's one of these things just came out that I was like, oh shit, this thing actually won.
Look at how
So-
much you know.
Yeah, so like you can build it and they can vote, and then Lego will, if you win, Lego will select you possibly and make it out officially with like painted pieces and like the box, and they make it officially into Lego Ideas. So that's the grand piano. That's one of them, right?
And the
The
foosball table.
foosball table is one of them. There's a lot of them. Almost, I think all the Lego Ideas is sourced from there.
Of course, this makes so much sense. Like listening to, I've never even dawned on me that that's
Yeah.
how fucking exciting. Like, it also makes me think in a more serious, like I can't imagine the ones that actually don't make it because I hate public votes.
Yeah.
Like it's what I don't want to make this more of a serious. This is more of a work related birthday podcast. But it's just like it makes me hate like America's Got Talent and Canadians Got Talent and Olivia Chow and all these like who is actually going to vote for these people.
That's what I wonder.
Right? Like that's so, but like in the Lego world, it's good to know that actually good things come to the top.
Well, the thing is,
those are good things, but there's probably things that get lost.
Jay, if you ever go on the
I'm
website
going to.
and
I'm
you
so
look
excited.
down and you be like, holy, like that thing's this person made that, and that's not going to be a piece. Like, fuck,
like I bet you Maple Leaf Gardens.
I wish I
made.
could remember. Probably. I wish I could remember this when I saw it. It was so great, and he wasn't even in the like. They tell you which ones are about to make it. He wasn't even out there. And it was something that I was like, I would so do. If you did this, I would buy this immediately.
So this is what oh man, that's why I'm like, voting sucks.
Yeah.
The best, like most popular thing doesn't win, or isn't the best, I mean.
They say you have control if you vote. You don't have any control. No one's voting how you want them to.
Oh my God. I had this argument with Tammy when we first were going, like she was mad at me because I didn't vote.
Yeah,
and I'm not. I like politics is what it is, and it's like I figured it doesn't matter, and I don't like want to start how it doesn't matter or whatever. But it's it's more dawned on me for America's Got Talent or Canadians Got Talent, where I was like I dissed it at first, where it's like all these amateur auditions, and then they spiced them up a little bit in the semifinals or whatever. It's like, oh, that's great. Oh, this person, like I love watching them for some reason when you truly believe somebody's dreams are coming true. Right, that's what gets to me.
Yeah,
right. Like that's what somebody's like doing something, right? And they applaud it, and so I on YouTube I watch Britain's Got Talent, and it's basically the same thing, but whatever, right? And it's very cheesy.
Just British.
It's just Britain. No, it's people just like America. They come from all over the world.
Yeah,
there's lots of people from like fucking China and Africa and whatever.
British judges.
What?
British judges?
British judge. They're all British judges, yeah. No, Bruno from The Dancing Show is the new judge this year.
Oh, really?
Bruno, and then two, singing chicks, and then Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell's the constant in all of these.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not as good as the American one. But it's better than the Canadian one, right? However it goes. And so, but they try. The Canadian one's got like Trish Stratus and Howard Mandel and Cardinal Official.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Yep.
You're the one who got me into it, but you're the one who I talked about it first, I remember.
Yeah. I haven't watched this season.
So whatever. So I watched them. Well, I'm not going to try to spoil too much, but, and so like in the British Talent one, like whatever, there's magicians, there are all these people, and most of them end up being good, right? That they put through.
Yeah.
Right? Like they give golden buzzers to sentimental people sometimes. Like I don't know how they decide or whatever. They get like Twitter moments or YouTube moments of it or whatever. But try to get a short story long. They get down to a lot of these people, and this one guy was so inspired. He was like a one-legged dancer. Like I don't know what. Just eventually YouTube, this British Got Talent one-legged dancer. He's got crutches, and he's fucking
great.
He's really good as far as you want to watch somebody just dance by themselves to sappy music, right? But it's like, oh my God, like this guy never thought like he could do, and so, but he loses out to somebody that just does when he doesn't even make the top 3 because the public votes. In the Canadian version, by the time I'm watching the semifinals, it's like, oh, that's a great act. Oh, that's a great story. Oh, that's this, that, and the other. And I don't know how much personal taste. But by the time I got to personal votes, I go, I'm not just like disrespecting Newfoundland or whatever. Just like, oh, how much of their community is 100% voting?
Yeah.
Right? Like saying like the Republicans get a lot of Christian votes. So if they get 100% of whatever certain church vote, or, you know what I mean? Maybe not whatever,
that's a lot.
A part of them. And it's just like, oh, so voting never really is a representation of what we are.
Unless you get every single person.
That's in the mayor vote. They said like 30% of real people voted.
Yeah.
And so how is that a representation? So, but nothing changes. That's a part of. That's why I not disrespect. I try to diss you down with your expectations. And it was not a disrespect. Your expectations. We're talking about at work stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you can get over your own expectations.
Yeah.
Right. Because you are a perfect example of a bridge who can go over those things we've talked about. I don't want to talk about shit you didn't get to talk about at work or don't want to talk about at work.
I mean, I would talk about it, but it's just like, should I explain it
before I go
into it?
You know, so your expectations, it equals, like that's how it's equaled of.
Well,
it's nothing to do with voting or anything like that.
My expectations, but I feel like I feel like I don't have unrealistic.
And I told you could explain to yourself instead of writing it down. Like say, so a guy at work like is trying to jump ahead, and so he wrote down everything that he did for some reason. It's not we fucking diss Jordan. Okay, let's talk about something we've talked about before. And he was like, "Why are you writing down what people do?
What other people do? Yeah,
yeah, other people do." And so they asked somebody who they've asked to be like more of a supervisor, not like you, but they're like saying like, oh, this lead hand of yours. You know, I don't know why he stopped talking about people, but his lead hand of yours is he's like, he all of a sudden wrote down everything he did. And they say, hey, can you do the same thing? Because you actually, somebody said to you, hey, can you explain yourself what you did yesterday?
Yeah.
And it was like, what?
Yeah.
How dare you? But you see what they did to Danny.
Oh man, I'm so against that right now.
But that's what they did to Danny.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We've been bringing up names. I don't know. But so I'm not saying, like you get it, but you have the power to change that. Like I said, just say to your notes what you said to me. Don't write it down. Use technology to not write it down like Booby did or whatever.
I mean, yes, I get that. But I feel like that, like when I do, I said this to you before, I'm a pretty cooperative person. I'm for the team. I'm for the company. The guys on my shift think I'm a company guy.
You try to make me more of a teammate.
Right? So I'm a company guy.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like I shouldn't have to
explain yourself in that way.
I've just certain things they should already know. The reason now, this is different because there's a separation in levels of management of who asked me to do this position and who I actually report to, type of thing.
Okay.
So there's a separation.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the reason that you put me there, you asked me to do it, is the reason you shouldn't be asking me what I did all night.
So I think it's part of...
we know in our job, some days you have an off day. You don't do shit.
Yeah.
That happens. That's not uncommon.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah. Like I used to do that all the time. I fucking do that now, right? You have an off day, you just don't do shit. And they know that. They know that sometimes you have an off day.
Yes, of course they do.
So I shouldn't have to explain myself whether I have an off day or not.
What if they're having an off day and it makes them more irritated than it should?
And that's why I didn't say anything.
You're good at that. That's why you know what I mean? Like you never... I don't know how many times you fly off the handle. It's hard when you have your kids. It makes you fly off the handle.
I just fly off with them. I take all my aggression out.
That in traffic. We heard you in traffic.
And traffic, yeah.
But it sucks, right? Like it's not like it reminded me of like it's your expectations. Like, but they respect you. Like
they ain't showing it right now.
Yeah, they don't show it, but you have to push back in those ways. And it's not as aggressive as you might think it is. Like I said, like if they say, okay, write this down, like and explain yourself. And you're like, fuck you for asking me to explain yourself. And you tell me the same stories. It's like, I did X and I did Y and then I was asked by this and that and the other. And then I was like, hey, Brian, that took you 45 seconds to say into your phone.
Yeah.
And you could change it to notes. Yeah. And you could put it on a piece of paper and then hand it to them. And it's very aggressive. You know what I mean? Like subpart, you know what I mean? You'd understand that. You understand the levels of it. Like that person doesn't deserve that level of aggression. I should just, sit back.
Exactly.
But you're giving in this world, this is where it comes like, oh, so what if I tell you that, well, we know this. I use my vape at work all the time, right? Like I don't care. It's a smoking shop.
I know this.
Right? Like, and there's like smoking rules because of the Ontario government. Like at a time that 80% of the people smoke there, like maybe, and it's probably very...
I think 80% is high, but yes.
No, before. Now it's probably in my day, I'm trying to say. Like this is where the grandfathered in part comes in. Yeah, how stupid it is that you should be able to smoke in a welding shop. But if we all can't smoke.
Smoke is in a fucking welding shop?
But that's what people who smoked would always say.
Cigarette smoke's the least
back in
of 1986,
the young Brian.
Smoke is the least of my worries.
I'm in a co-op class in 86 while young Brian's getting born in some hours from now or an hour ago, whatever it happened today. And we would smoke in the shop, smoke in the lunchroom. And I'll say, okay, you can't smoke in the lunchroom. That makes sense. Half the people don't smoke here or whatever. In our shop, 30% of the people don't smoke in the shit. So it was like so they go out. But you can smoke all day long with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth or whatever. Then we can't smoke in the office. So Medeiros would have to, if at that Madeira of the day, or the owner of the whole company would have to come down and smoke at the fucking, you know what I mean? Like
in the shop.
Yeah. Right. But then there was a rule. So they did. But then, so people would just go outside the bay door and do it. So that's been happening at our welding shop because nobody really cares.
Yep.
Right. It happens. But now with all this new world, it becomes a hard and fast rule. And so in my mind, this is funny. Ironically, you end up having somebody go smoke in their truck behind the cameras and it's grandfathered in. We understand that's happening.
Yeah.
But then you lose about 4 hours of that person's shift where you could have just had him having a cigarette hanging in his mouth and you'd lose like a half hour.
Yeah.
And then, okay, it was the door. So you'd lose like an hour and a half And then you come to this rule, it's like, well, we're not going to fire you for that or whatever. But then eventually, a person like that won't do that, like type of thing.
Yeah.
So how do you even bring it to that? That's just how the new world affects. So you could say your gripes into your phone, like it would be heard. Just like I might have to change my and people are going to fuck with this like organization area.
Yeah.
And they're going to even take the lunchroom to make it better.
Yeah.
And so it's all righteous. It's all good. So you shouldn't try to be so frustrated. You can get yourself, you're doing good. You're doing good, man.
Well, I mean,
you deserve the TV.
Gotta explain myself.
So short story long.
I don't know how good that is doing.
So I heard the whole spiel. We had a meeting about the smoking. I was like, oh God, they're probably coming really heavy on that. I'd watch people when I'm leaving smoking in their trucks. I go, I bet you that happens all night long. And so I'd smoke in the lunchroom with my vape, but there's only like 3 people in there.
Yeah.
And it's not that, I don't know how obnoxious it is, but nobody really said any grandfathered in type of thing. But I'll do it in my lunchbox. You know what I mean? Like I was testing, I was getting the batteries that I was doing, and I fucking took a big puff. I might have taken a couple. It was like about 10 minutes after lunch. And I turned around after trying to fuck around, and I saw the new HR guy like walking. And I'm like, oh man, there's a huge percentage that he just saw a huge puff of smoke come out of my face. Oh,
he walked in. Wait. In the lunchroom?
No. Sorry, I'm making stories. It was after lunch. Yeah. And I've been hitting up. This is really the only time I do it. I'd have a coffee. I'll have a couple hits. So I punch back into work 12:30. But I'm at my lunchbox, finishing my coffee, whatever, setting my fucking phone back up. My toolbox, yeah. Right? I'm at my toolbox, and I'm fucking around with the battery, and so I'm whatever on the phone. I'm there for about 5 minutes, and before I'm about to leave, I got everything set up. I take a big hit of the vape, right, and I fucking blow it out into my toolbox, and I turn around, and now in the story, I see the HR guy like walking by the stairs on the ground, like on my level, like just like kind of around my welder.
Yeah.
And he wasn't looking at me, but he was walking with himself in a folder or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I bet you he saw me blow the smoke out. Right? Like I go, he just had this meeting. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't think I'm grandfathered in.
So the meeting had already happened by
Yes,
then.
it was at least the day of or the next day.
Oh, damn.
And I'm like, oh, I bet. The part of me was thinking, oh man, I wonder if I'm going to hear about this.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about it.
You didn't?
No, nothing came about it.
Nothing?
The whole day came by. I was like, I thought about it every now and then, but no, so I don't think he saw. I think if he did see, I think I would have heard something about it.
How long ago was this?
It was this week.
It was this week.
Yeah, it was this week. If it was a thing, you would already know about it. So with all your other stories that we've talked about.
A person on my shift who smokes often has now changed where he smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know exactly where they go.
Yeah.
They go there during the day. But that's grandfathered in.
No,
if you know it, everybody knows
in his car.
Oh.
In the parking lot. So he's changed. He used to just do it right outside the bay doors. Now he goes to where we park on that side of the shop in his car and goes and does it. I know.
That's what I'm saying. So you end up losing it, but it doesnn't really matter. It's like almost like the help. Like eventually, it's not like.
Eventually, somebody's gonna call the labor board. Somebody's gonna do it. That's the struggle with when it comes to laws. Like, so whenever I talk to people and on my shift and they go, oh, why do they do this? Why do I go, it's the law? They say, fuck the laws. Well, no, you can't. If you're a company, you can't just say fuck the laws. So like we can do that.
Yeah.
Right. But they can't do that.
Well, that's why there's no smoking in a welding shop.
Right. So, but like people act like it's, it's so stupid, or yeah, the laws may be stupid, but at the end of the day, you're the one getting charged, fined, or you're going to jail, whatever the consequences may be. And I'm talking about the company in this case. So you can't just tell them, oh, why can't you just leave me alone to let me do this? Who cares about the laws?
Well, and that turns into you getting hassled about what you did the other day.
Well, not even that. I get hassled about health and safety. So when people say, why do I have to wear my, not even the safety glasses thing, it's like the books. I get a real big thing about signing off the books.
Because that comes to the ultimate fucking, like, just a job being done for the sake of a job. Like, it needs to be done.
Because it's the law.
Yeah, I get it, right? But just like stop hassling. Like, you have so much to do now. So you get bothered about these extra hassles.
Yes.
Right? But it's all for the better good. Like, it's, man. You're in the middle of growing it too. Like, in the middle of how all these decisions get made. It's never as bad as you think it is. You can fix it, yourself. But it is so frustrating.
For sure.
And so it's who you allow. You were saying like, and he wasn't. Tammy was saying we were talking about Sammy, like whatever position you think he's been put into now, right? And part of it is his own fault. It's just like the world changes around you, no matter if you don't take control of it.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're not doing it, like, but now you brought up even like lights in the yard. And so you could be just as righteous as the guy who does like is just come out of nowhere and put in his smoking policies or 5H or whatever all these things are. And it's just, but it's going to be more listened to now because so much fucking. This is what's like so much is listened to, right? They have no choice. There's like a fucking committee of jobs dedicated to your ideas if you just say them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you're your own joke of your frustration. Just like I am like, hey, how come you're not trying the new welder? You can look at, well, why wouldn't you look at like you be the first person to ask? And just like, well, fuck it, that's not a stupid way to look at it, right? Like I'm more stupid to fight that. It brings me to whole analogies like, well, why would you wear a goalie mask? That was stupid. You know what I mean? Like, no, of course. And so it's you right back at you. You have your own ways to change that. You can live in the whole frustration of how the new company's working. But it's your own fault, like you said for Sammy, is voting him in. People like, I don't know really who Olivia Chow is. I know who kind of my idea of who she is. And even if she's only voted by 30% of the, she might have not because she's Asian or whatever, she has a very liberal, the liberal community of her is what I hate. I hate that. I remember she was living.
So you hate liberals.
I don't like Olivia Chow is what I don't. I wouldn't vote for her.
Yeah.
People probably hate Doug Ford and Rob Ford and all those people more than they hate Olivia Chow. Right. But I like that more of I like their politics in a way more than hers. That's more of like, she was voted in just of recognition not of maybe her great ideas, I guess in my mind. And that's so be careful. You didn't vote. I mean, I'm just say that was my mayor or whatever. It's like only 33%. You can't really complain about it. Don't complain. You're stuck with it. In this case, you're stuck with more social programs and higher taxes. Right? It's like she promises things that she can't deliver. She just says it.
Oh yeah.
So at our work, they're promising things for whatever reason. It's not smoking. Like those come to safety issues. So you like those rules because you get to enforce them with no gray area.
Well, I don't really care about enforcing them. I more so care about like whatever I really and truly, I'd rather the path of least resistance. So if you're telling me that I have to sign these books every day, fine. But if I'm telling somebody that they have to sign these books every day and they go to me, well, you know what? I don't want to sign these books because that's stupid. We use these things every day, so we should know that they're in working order and blah, 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 blah. And I say, well, the law dictates that the company has to have a record of them checking the stuff over so that they know if somebody gets hurt. Yeah, well, that's stupid. We all know it works. And I'm just like, why wouldn't you just fucking sign the book instead of argue about it? Were you going to argue with the law? You're going to go talk to Trudeau and freaking change his mind and tell him to tell the labor minister to change all these fucking rules? No, you're not. Just fucking sign the damn book.
So this is where
shit like that's what really gets to me.
But people live in the whole real political world where like they really hate Trudeau and all these ideas, and we understand, and when we talk about it, but it's just like you're just going to vote for another clown like him.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what we think.
Yeah.
But people get so behind their guy, right? In the red and blue fucking world of Twitter and all that kind of thing. Like it gets so annoying. This is where it gets kind of into, what I mean? Like, but then Olivia, they've, if you hate that agenda that's being pushed, you hate that how it's being pushed and you don't think it's justified, but then they change like real laws. Like, and again, I don't have to get like gender shit in school and all these things that are against religions and against real ideals. And then, so it's not just safety glasses where you have to do it or go home, or like, I don't care that you like your bay in a certain way. Like we're a $30 million company now. Like you're inconsequential. Like fine, go smoke behind the fucking school benches. You know what I mean? Like go ahead. Eventually there'll be a grade 3 in here right now who's going to be in high school and they'll never smoke behind the benches. You'll be a statue. It'll be a mental statue.
Statue.
Right? And so we like the old schoolness, you know what I mean? But it's in a real societal way. Like I hate what I hear that might be true about whatever rules are, like kids are subjected to.
Yeah.
I grew up with like the Lord's Prayer and all that shit. I don't like that kind of stuff, but I get it. I don't live in that hate, but it brings up hate, right? Like I hate as much as whatever change, but talking to you, I like watching you not like certain amounts of change and other like at work, just even as I was like, oh, I can't. He had a good point about the welder.
Yeah.
He had a good point about shadowing people. Right, and I give you the ideas like, yeah, that's a good idea, and you get to pick somebody else's good ideas. Oh, that was funny, right? Like, so that make you feel good. Like, see, that's why I don't want to argue about the real world stuff because there's nothing to do there. You actually like this microcosm it in,
very
right?
micro.
Like, right? Like you've changed our little atmosphere for a bit. You've changed the atmosphere there. We celebrated 1942 tequila.
Yes.
It was fun. Oh, so how about this? So I brought some petite.
We can actually. Oh, okay. You're
No, go ahead.
Tequila story. No, I can.
No, I was just going to say we were having our shots before the show. That's why it's all jumbled, part of it. And so Cillian is still doing work from home, I guess, right? She's like doing her best not to. And all of a sudden, we had one shot of Patron, and then we had a shot of 1942 celebrated. Overall good. We'll get to your review. Maybe this isn't part of it. But it was a fun times. But right in the middle, before we had the shot, she get her boss wanted her to call her, and so it's like, oh my god, I stopped interrupting my tequila taste. Yeah, there was a whole huge fun fucking time. But that was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
You got one off the list.
I did get one off the list. I don't know what's on the list now.
See, that's just another I don't know. Got distracted. It's some other microcosm of world you live in.
Yeah,
you brought up Scotch and bourbon. Like it's a whole other world.
It's a whole other world.
Tammy bought me we were watching the UFC McGregor and whatever, blah blah. He's not the greatest guy, I'm sure, but he has a whiskey. So I have proper 12 at home now.
Oh yeah,
she bought me. I just had the blue, just like you, for a non-celebration. She just decided to buy me proper 12. Yeah. Like, oh wow, and I put in my coffee every now and then.
So it's good.
That's all right, but I don't know shit about whiskey.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care. I don't want to. I'll just I'm my obsession. We'll just be like, well, this is another shot. It's already bad enough with the tequila. Yeah. Like you said, it's a whole other world, right? Like what's the most expensive thing in the world? Probably wine.
Yeah.
Wine, whiskey, or tequila? Probably wine. But why whiskey or tequila?
Whiskey
or bourbon or something like that. Bourbon? That's probably way more.
Yeah, I think Scotch.
It's
Scotch
disrespectful to
whiskey,
Mexicans.
Scotch and right, the Scotch and bourbon gets pretty freaking crazy.
Yeah, I bet you that's fucking that old Scottish fucking thing.
So at the LCBO by our house one time, I was looking at the wine in the wine area, and they had this cabinet, and it was like I think it was like $1,200 or $1,300 bottle of wine in there, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what? See, that goes crazy.
So that's the elite, just raising prices. They're just like, it's like moving into their own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck wine. I think that's why I really fucking hate wine.
Wine's delicious.
It can be.
If you get the right one. The thing is, you spend like $5,000 figuring out which wine you want, which wine you actually like, because you have to buy all of them to figure it out. Fucking annoying.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So what else you got going on, man?
Me? Nothing.
Nothing? You get the nice quiet weekend on your birthday?
That's
another thing you wish for, eh?
Yeah.
See?
That's the plan.
I love celebrating your birthday.
I'm over it. I want to chill out,
I like
watch
your style.
some movies.
I like your style.
Take some shots.
You definitely have to watch Avatar on that TV, man.
Avatar,
I'm jealous. I might have to watch it again just to join you.
Yeah.
What else is going on, man? What do you think of that whole Titanic sub thing?
So the Titanic sub thing.
I'm going to try to be our AI producer and look at one of those things on the list.
So do
you think it deserved all the attention it got? Like in a way, like things come up to the surface more? I
want to know if you would do it first.
No.
You wouldn't. No, in hindsight.
Yeah, I guess in hindsight it's easier.
No.
I've never been on a sub before. Never mind 4.5 miles down.
So if I would have asked you before to see the Titanic underwater, you would have said no.
I would akin it, I would put it in the same category as going to space.
If somebody offered you to go into space, you would say no?
No, I would do that more than going to see Titanic.
Why is that?
It seems more feasible. I'm less scared of it.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It seems more feasible. It seems more safe to leave the planet than it is to go down.
Like James Cameron's the only sub I would go in.
Yeah.
James Cameron's been doing this forever. He has videos out of there from years ago condemning this company.
Yeah.
Right? Like he went and seen the Titanic. Like who cares a fucking shit about the Titanic? Never mind you, Mr. 1986. Like that was like, when they found the Titanic.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, yeah, no, you're right.
Have you ever heard that the whole Titanic was an insurance job?
No.
I know, right? Conspiracy theories might have not just started now. When I heard that, it was because it was so over budget. It was so it was so celebrated. It was like the most shorted stock in 1931 or whatever it happened.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good that it's probably true.
And especially since they had a sister ship that was almost identical.
What do you mean?
There's a sister ship
I don't know
the
this
Titanic. Oh, fuck. What's it called? And it's almost identical. It's slightly smaller, and it freaking went. It freaking went for like years. It sailed back and forth for years.
Yeah.
And but the Titanic was the biggest by like a meter or some shit.
No, but I think it was just good PR.
It's like
It's just good PR.
bro, they probably stuck an antenna on the end instead of bigger
For
by
sure.
a meter. You know,
It was
what I
the first
mean?
person sticking their fingers out of the race.
Right?
Oh my god.
So it's like
That's another
it's like
conspiracy.
a lot of people just
So yeah, like I was just like joking or not joking, whatever. When I barely talked about it, because it was so in the whatever in my head, I was like, "How come it took them so long to find the sub?
Right.
Right? Like, how come there's not a beacon? Right? Like, obviously they know where the Titanic is, so there must be some kind of. But I think that just disrespects like the vastness of the ocean.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, you know where the moon is, but good luck getting there.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that's feasible for some stupid reason.
At least you know where you're going. In the ocean, you have no fucking clue.
You still can't see it.
You can't see shit.
And it's full of real living things.
And you don't even know.
Oh my God.
Man has never gone to the deepest depths of the ocean. So we don't even know.
Yeah, that's what it
We
brings
don't
in my
even
mind.
know.
That's why I would do space
insane.
first.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't do space either.
Like you can
Never
try-
mind the money. You think for free. Like, first of all, they like this money could go somewhere else. So the reason is why people pay more attention to the sub than a refugee ship going down in the Mediterranean with
Yeah.
women and children dying. And
700 people?
God will take care take care of them, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
What about these 5 billionaires? Right?
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
such a joke. I don't want to live in that world either. Right? Like it's like that's a true. I don't know. Right? Like it, but I wouldn't like it's just like it's a waste of money. So I wouldn't do it like that. But so it's going to space. But you can justify that for whatever. Other
Could
reason.
you though?
Not in mankind way.
Justify going to space, but like you said, it's like the same thing. Exploring space would be like exploring. The only difference is one of them seems more like it's like you can.
I think we would just
actually do it.
exploit space like we exploit ocean. All we mostly know about the ocean is pollution, overfished. We only know a certain amount about it. Like we're
Yeah.
joking, right? But what we know about it, we've exploited. We put them in SeaWorld,
Yeah, it's true.
right? Like what that's what aliens should do to us. Is what we've done to the alien world of the ocean. That's what a guy like I think a frustrated if you're smart like James Cameron and making these beautiful movies. The reason it takes him forever is because he knows, you know what I mean? Like he builds his own $1 billion subs
Yeah.
and hires the best people and doesn't charge people to, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
eventually does, makes beautiful movies out of it.
Yeah.
That fucking nature documentary.
That we were watching.
You were saying like, how do they get this close up of this goose or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck that was?
Well, it's like, you know, like you have to have like a lens like this.
But you
big.
respect the technology it takes to
Yeah.
make that.
For sure.
But that's trying to capture a picture in 1,000 words. Like that's really what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like that's really Earth that we
that's what they
fucking
need.
pollute.
and that's what they need to do about the ocean.
I think so.
Actually, very. You know what's funny? I'm thinking like we have such a fascination with space. We have like SpaceX, we have NASA, like everybody's trying to go into space. Why has nobody ever put that much effort and money into going underwater? And I can't. There's no way people have put that much money into exploring the ocean. Space
you're right.
money.
I know. I agree. I think I live in that world too. But those people that are whale huggers, like let's save the whales.
Yeah,
like that was way
true.
before '86. They've
True.
kind of known that. Fucking hippies that take ayahuasca come back and it's like it's all nature, man. Like we're polluting the world,
yeah,
man.
but even still now, nobody wants to go see.
You're right.
Nobody has any freaking clue.
Yeah, but there's no. I know. It's just. But
It's
then that's
kind of insane.
It is insane. That's how humans are insane.
We're stupid.
Yeah, because we get lost in our stupid politics.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like you know what I mean. Like we're caught in this little. Like when you look at that fucking nature documentary, they show like the Earth and like we're so small,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? Like it's just so like it's just like it's we make it big.
We think
But
we
you-
matter.
I do think. I don't know. Again, way too much into this is like going. Is that's why I just concentrate on being happy, right? Like
Which is exactly what I was gonna say like a couple minutes ago. Is like I'd rather spend my time instead of fighting the nonsense that I don't feel that strongly about, like signing a book and just like freaking
Yeah.
experience freaking popping 1942 for the first time.
But you're disrespectful. Okay, you're right.
You know what? That's the experiences of being happy that freaking we should really pay attention to. Like
Your
you
hard
said.
work gives you this moment.
Exactly.
Right? Like I know, but without you, I wouldn't try the next new welder that comes. Without you, I wouldn't shadow Kyle. Eventually, I'll know his real name.
Yeah. I was
Like once he
thinking,
starts
like,
shadowing,
I was thinking Zach.
right? But like,
yes.
how do I turn this into a positive for me? Right? And say I got a good. Say I had a good. We were getting reviews.
Yeah.
We've had all these stupid meetings about smoking and all this shit. I'm not trying to make you talk about work shit, but whatever.
Yeah,
It's
fine.
all. And so I knew reviews were coming. I'm fine with what I make. If I want to make more, I'll take Brian's job. Like anything that can happen, right?
Exactly.
I'll work overtime. Like anything. I
Yeah.
want Fridays off. I don't want to make more money,
Yeah.
right? I can make. And so So I had my review the other day. I didn't tell Tammy this because I knew she'd hear this, and this is how much of a big deal I don't make it, because it is nice to get a good review, but I've kind of passed on to you and everybody that I have Ali's respect. I've given Ali as much respect as I think I can give like somebody, and so we have this review, and I see all this frustration on him, like having to do a review, and they make me this, and this is why I wrote this, and I understand that he's probably had to defend his position that somebody's put him in. Like, what do you mean make Johnny, give you, you know what I mean? Like all behavioral stuff or this or that. It's just like, sure, what you can improve and what you're good at, it's all good. But by dissecting that even more, can I just tell Johnny, like, yeah, can you do this better? And this is great. Yeah, but you know what? My job entails me to tell you to do something more. Right? And I think that's where it's like, well, fuck your job. Right? That's where I have no disrespect for the organizing people. Yeah. It's like, good stuff. Yeah, but Brian can fix this by himself. Yeah. Right? Like, but so I don't respect them. Right? Like, I respect somebody that can just throw that into their, you know what I mean? Like, thing. So, that's like, fair. Somebody else in our work can just do all the scheduling and HR, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever. Right? Like, yeah, sure. We talked about somebody who was HR before. They're gone now. Now we need a team to do this one person. Well, that's the society we've created. And sure, smoking, and we email fucking pronouns. Oh, God. It's the worst. Never mind smoke. How dare I and so, you know what I mean? Like, talk about smoking when I have email pronouns. Right? Like, you can get around your smoking. You can get around your email but you can concentrate on it. Yeah. But that's not going to make me enjoy my 1942 any better.
No, it's not.
Are you going to be the type of person that takes that and then makes you drunk, or angry drunk? No. Right? No, of course not. That's what we like about you. And so I get into this world like where I sound like woke Disney. I'm not trying to make a right turn out of nowhere.
Wait a minute. Disney's coming out of cryo?
No, that's not what you meant. Oh my God, that's the best fucking ever.
That's not what you meant? No?
That's surprising. That's a real laugh. That's a fucking laugh. That's a real one. Holy shit. Yeah. Good for I want to applaud how long you've kept that in your mind. Thank you. You need another shot your memory's still good. No, but of course Disney's woke because it's a commercialized thing. Yeah. They don't want to come across. Right? Like, how dare you go against the woke agenda? Like, you have to fight that's the whole Republican, whatever, like a Creo type of thing or whatever, right? And so, yeah, I can concentrate on how woke Disney is, but I can concentrate on the better things that they do, right? Or I don't know when the line is drawn. So you think
Disney's woke?
I think they try to be. So it can happen in two things. If they have gay characters in an animated story.
Buzz Lightyear.
But there's another one. I don't know how many more, but we watched this one called Strange World.
Okay.
And it's a part of this agenda that people like to poke fun at Disney that they've lost billions of dollars trying to, in not just like having a gay character, but turning the Little Mermaid black. And it's just, well, that's a stretch. Like, why can't she be black? Yeah. And why, and there's really like, and so, but 100 odd years ago, they wouldn't even thought of it. Yep. But so it's not wrong for them to change their mind. No. It's not wrong for them to
their character.
It's their character, but so you're trying to stretch the things we hate about wokeness into other things. Those people who concentrate on something like the Black Mermaid are like pushing a racist agenda or something like that. But it gets like only the same percentage who voted Olivia Chow in get a hold of this agenda and get all MAGA or whatever, right? And then if Donald Trump has a good idea about business with China, it gets thrown into, well, no, vote for me because this guy's a racist. He hates the Black Mermaid. Yeah. Right? Like, I don't know how much you know. I don't know much, but like the governor of Florida hates Disney.
Does he? I never knew that. Yeah. Isn't Disney like based in Florida?
But he thinks their tax breaks are too much. He hates his smoking. He's a MAGA guy. Like, if you don't know this, and this is a Google.
Does he really not realize how much money
that's the argument
to
Disney
the state?
Has. Well, Disney's money does talk more than his politics. Yeah. But he's so Olivia Chow'd. I hate him more than I hate Olivia Chow.
But aren't they on opposite sides, basically?
Basically, I hate them for the same reasons. Okay, because they're attached to their ideas too much. I like both their ideas. I like enough of their ideas to make a whole other fucking entity
that you would vote for.
Yes, right. Yeah. It's that Venn diagram thing. Yeah, right. But like the whole world lives on the outsides, and those middle people like you and me don't vote, or me in that situation. I'm sorry, but people who I think have some similar ideas. Right? Like, don't go subscribe to both ideas. But it's a whole different thing. It's almost like I throw it into not celebrate. You could try so hard on focusing what you hate about her and him, or you could just go to Disney and fucking ride the rides.
Yeah.
And watch both movies and hate the real Lion, the Beyonce Lion King, not because you love every single picture you've ever seen of Beyonce. It's because I like the cartoon better when I was a kid or whatever.
Yeah,
when I was an adult.
That's what we want to watch.
That's what we want to watch.
Yeah.
We didn't vote that second because of woke agenda.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a, how can I rile up the woke people? Say, hey man, look at what this giant media company, these Jews or whatever media company people are doing. They're forcing this agenda. You know what I mean? They're misrepresent. I don't know, right? Like you understand what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying.
And so it gets in when it's like Olivia Chow type of thing. It's not a race thing. It's more of like a liberal, like, you know, how dare you speak from your, you know what I mean? Like bank account and public housing or whatever, right? Like that's the first thing I knew about her. She was Jack Layton's wife.
Yeah.
Who's NDP. The NDP's been my favorite for years. Right. And so,
Even
but I
now?
just don't.
That's who you vote for Canada?
Yeah. I like that guy.
Jagmeet?
Yeah. Because he loves being here. Like he understands, you know what I mean? Like
he appreciates.
Like that's what I think Olivia Chow feeds off of what I think his real feelings are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like gets that kind of sentiment.
So do you think she's going to do a good job?
No, I don't know.
Really?
I don't inspire. Maybe for some people. Maybe for people I can't recognize.
I know it's hard for us to say because we don't actually live in the city, but what the city does affects us. Yeah. It affects us big time, right? Did John Tory do a good job?
Yeah, like I'm saying, she can't do any worse.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
yeah.
I don't think she can do any worse.
Yeah,
I'm probably. my ideas are probably so strong that I have to be so wrong.
So I liked the other candidates. I liked I somewhat liked Saunders, right? Who was the old commissioner of the Toronto Police.
Okay.
I remember when he was in power.
Okay.
And I can't remember the other guy's name, but I liked him too. I was thinking Olivia Chow shouldn't win.
Yeah, me too. Because I just
I was on the same.
I don't think she's put the work in.
I was listening to some of the shit she said, and I'm just like, gives a fuck.
So I didn't give a fuck to even know who Sanders was. Like I didn't pay that much attention to all the other candidates.
Yeah.
I knew there was some. I would hear it on the radio, but mostly, you know what I mean? Like I didn't really, but because we're not really in Toronto, and I think I'm just thinking of it more of a conversational way of their ideas. Because you're really dividing people by their ideas.
Well, that's
in a way.
the thing. So Mark Saunders was the police of the commissioner of the Toronto Police. That's around the times like I was in Scarborough. No, that was like after. And like there were a lot of people who live in that. And you know, people always say they hate the police commissioner. That's like generally what people would say who are doing bad things.
Bad PR.
Yeah, right?
Very bad.
But like some of the shit he would say is like, okay, like now that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And so I know him because like he was like the first black commissioner of the Toronto Police, right? So that's why he was a big news. That's why his name sticks.
How long was he commissioner for? And you get assigned that, right?
Yeah, you get appointed because who was it before? Was it Julian Fantino?
Yeah, wow. So he's been for a while.
Yeah, he was for a long time.
See, that's good, man.
Yeah. So he stepped down, and that's when Saunders got up there. Yeah.
I think that's just more you respect the earned, like the earned nature of it.
Yeah.
Like when somebody whose ideas you don't like, you know what I mean? Like just like, well, they're not as good as this person who's actually real world experience. Mm-hmm. Right? It's
oh, that's true. Actually, I never thought about that.
Really?
I never thought about that. Like he probably.
You think it's just representation? Like I don't know.
I didn't think it was representation. I just like some of the things he says. Like, and some things just trigger me. Like this is hilarious, but we live in our city, which is a very big cyclist city.
Yeah.
It's so fucking annoying, Jay. And this girl wants to, this is just one thing. It's not really the main issue, but she wants to put bike lanes everywhere. I don't want any more bike lanes than we already have. Anywhere on the planet. I'm not even talking about in the city, like on the fucking planet. Just fucking find another road to go right in. Like it's just so frustrating. I'm sorry. I'm getting triggered. I'm really getting triggered. But like, oh my God. Just don't talk about bike lanes. Like, oh. Sorry.
So yeah, can you imagine? I get that's that's one of the things you have. You fucking that explained about bike lanes. You hate construction.
God. Jesus.
Good luck with that shit.
I know,
but that's what people concentrate on.
I would have voted. I would not vote for her just for that.
I don't know. I think that like I said, like Saunders, like I said, I only know her child. So she just feels like she just came out of nowhere to capture a moment, to be like, you know what I mean? But whatever. But why live in that? You hate that, but you know bike lanes are going to exist.
Yeah.
You can concentrate on the most times that they don't come into your world.
Yeah. And why does nobody use the bike lanes when they're there? You always freaking in the middle of the road. It's always one of those streets that have no bike lanes.
So we kind of live in the country.
I'm sorry.
We used to live in the country, but there's country between us and the other end of the city. And so I was coming from the city back to home this morning, early afternoon. And so all of the construction, right? Like you get on Britannia, nobody cares, but like Britannia because of 1 lane road. And there's like they're like changing fucking villages, you know what I mean? Their marshes are fucking being picked up and moved over to the next town. Like it's crazy. And I'm looking down at these farm fields and going, oh, this is just going to be Walmarts and fucking apartment buildings, just like our little town has turned into.
Yeah.
And so whatever, it's just fun to buzz out while I should be concentrating on driving. But it comes to a 1 lane road and there's a fucking guy on a bike, right? And he has no bike lane. And it's got nothing but construction, and it's a true country road, and everybody had to stop. I was finally behind a guy who was doing some decent speed limit. I go, I gotta get back home. The birthday boy's gotta pick me up soon. I'm fucking flat going fast. And this motherfucking on a bike. But who am I? Like fucking,
so that didn't irritate you?
Only because I thought I was late for something. I was only like, really, I don't like, but he had no choice.
You know,
it's a construction zone, so
you could drive a car. You can get a spin bike.
You didn't even have a helmet or nothing. You go old school.
This city has a freaking entire center dedicated to cycling,
and people drive around it.
Right?
They ride around it.
Oh my god, I've seen that, and I'm just like, is this fucking retarded? Is this ridiculous? Yeah. Sorry, Jay. Sorry.
Look at but that's the world they love. That's their meditation. That's funny. So that becomes a political issue for you.
Don't talk about traffic.
That becomes a political issue for you. Man, your road rage is way bigger than you thought. So whatever. So people take this into the whole, like, nobody cares about your traffic in the fucking microcosm of everything.
Of course not.
Just like everybody doesn't care about my opinion at work and all those things.
We all love it.
But it's more self-care stuff. I'm trying to talk you off the ledge or whatever. I think it's more your youth. Never mind. You're getting older all the time.
Thanks, Jay.
My physio fucking experiments,
which I've been dying to hear about.
Right? Like, I don't know. Are you doing anything good for yourself these days? You talked a big game, fucking exercising, but we haven't talked about any of that at all.
No, I haven't been exercising. I still been on my cutback of alcohol.
Tammy's been killing. Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've still been on that. But other than that, no.
Okay. The kids are killing it with their soccer.
You're
taking them up for a lot of drills.
As a matter of fact,
that's got to help out a lot with the drills you're taking them.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot of drills, and especially in this summer, it's going to be even more crazy. But you know what's funny? Selena had mentioned that the kids bought themselves a Switch, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. They bought one each, and they had saved their money for it. So because when we do drills, and we do it in the summertime, we do it outside. There's no like weights. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. So we do weights in the basement. We do push-ups. We do like a lot of those stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know you did weights.
Oh yeah, they do like weights with squats.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So in the summer, we don't do any like muscle type stuff. They're just running or practicing at
outside all the
time.
Nice.
So what I did last year was try to get them to do the month challenges.
That's right.
Remember?
I do.
So this year, they started to fall off at the end. They were just like they stopped. So this year, Kai came and he goes, so I want to save my money and buy myself a Switch. We didn't tell him to save his money or anything. He came up with this idea on his own.
Nice.
So
I like it.
We said, okay, so you have to, as parents, this is the part of parenting I enjoy, where the kid has an idea, he's developing himself, and that's when you can support that idea.
Nice.
So we can say, okay, yeah, he came to me and he said to me, this is in the beginning, he said to me, so if you have any jobs that you want me to do, I can do them for you and you can pay me for it. And I'm like, absolutely, I'll do that. For sure, I'll do that.
Proud.
For sure. So we started giving, I was thinking about jobs to give him, and I couldn't think of any. So I said to Selena, you know what? I'm just going to give them another monthly push-up challenge, and they would get paid by the week.
Ooh.
So if they do it, they would do it by the week. I'm not reminding them. I'm not doing anything. And so they have this $5 a week job. So they're on week 2. They reminded me today that, hey, our sire actually reminded me. He's like, when are you going to give me money? I said, what do you mean? I did my push-up challenge. I did 5 days. You said you're going to give me $5. I said, okay, yeah, I got to go to the bank. I got to get cash.
Did you give them cash?
Yeah, I give them cash.
They have cash?
Yeah. So
That's
this is
awesome.
how they saved up for like the latter part of their time. They already had like $100+ in their
How
piggy
long?
bank.
Oh, from like whatever.
For like all money, they would always just put it in there.
Okay.
Right? So
For like gifts or something?
yeah. So this is how they saved up. We started giving them money for stuff and this push-up challenge, and then they got birthday money. And Kai had like $5 more than enough to buy the Switch. And Sire had $80 less, but we were just like,
Cyrus,
whatever. We'll just put the money in there. We just said, yeah, you saved
Did Kai
a good
feel disrespect?
job.
He feels like people
He
like
didn't know. We just told
really?
them they both did a good job saving.
They didn't have to. They didn't count the money themselves.
No,
they couldn't
of course
count that.
not.
I didn't know
No,
if you made them count it.
No, we
Or
just told
money
them-
makes people count. You know what I mean? Like sooner or
Right?
later, I can't believe they didn't really know how much money it was.
Yeah.
They gave you how much was the Switch?
So it came up to $295 each.
So you had $300 of fives, or no?
It was like five. He has some 50s. He has some big bills.
Nice.
And like, yeah, so they did it up, and even though we lied to
That's
Sire, we
beautiful.
said you
Look
did
at-
a good saving.
Proud
you
papa.
good job. Yeah, and we made them pay for it themselves with the money and get the change
No
and stuff.
way.
And the guy at Walmart was great because we went to Walmart. He was great. He was like talking to them. He's like, "How'd you get this? Did you save up for this too?" He's like, "Oh, that's good." And he was like talking to them. He's like, "So here's how you get your change." And he was like, "It was great." I was like, it was like a perfect experience that I hope is not going to be lost. And they take that with them.
That might be that part, whatever. Buying it,
But the whole,
but that
the
added
whole
to it.
experience.
No, that
of
part
it,
is sweet.
You thought of something, you saved up, you gave your money, because you have to understand when you save up for something and you spend it, that money goes. You know
But
what I mean?
you're even forgetting about
That-
the physical part of it too. Yeah, that too.
Which physical part?
No, making them do like push-ups.
Oh yeah, that
that
for
discipline
sure.
part.
Doing
You
something
love the discipline
hard,
of money.
doing something hard to get something.
The discipline of money. First of all, you liked it last year making them do the push-ups to like, oh, my kids love training.
Yeah,
How good they're at soccer compared
Yeah.
to like you think your kid's good. That was funny listening to you talk about it. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
like yeah, how good the kids are doing at soccer compared to everybody else. But like that's now a given. It's like, okay, how can I make them their love for training? It's like I don't really know jobs for them to do. But you know what? Now they've learned the discipline of exercise no matter what.
Well, yeah,
You know subconsciously they know their training has made them better soccer players.
they gotta know. They better know.
So now but they barely know what money is yet.
Yeah, they're
Right, like,
starting now.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's what
Yeah.
makes it. I get it. That's a wicked story.
Which is why I like that the
On their own is even better.
the whole experience, because they know that money is gone.
That's
and
what
Kai
you.
even said today. Was it today or yes? Yeah, today. Selena was like mad at them. She was yelling at them. It's like she's like then you guys are gonna make me quit my job, and then your dad's gonna be the only one working, and then we're gonna have to take money from your piggy bank to pay the bills.
That's hilarious.
And then Kai goes, "Well, I don't have any money in there anymore."
Wow.
So he already recognizes, like a lot of people
better get back
into
to work.
problems
Oh my
where
God.
they spend unlimitedly
Yeah,
when they
they go
don't
into
have
debt
it,
too much.
right? Like this is what Asmara got money for her birthday. She had like $270 last week, and she has like 60 now
On not her favorite thing in the
on
world.
a bunch of random
On
shit.
not her favorite thing in the
bunch
world.
of random shit.
Not the thinnest TV ever made.
Not even close.
Not the best Switch ever made.
Nothing that she ever thought about wanting before.
Yeah.
Impulsive stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I wish I could have had more of an influence on her in that aspect, because obviously I
yeah, you're
wasn't
doing
with
your
her
best.
every day.
This isn't a birthday present. You
But
know
I
how
tried.
You know how good you've done. As much
I
as you want a
tried.
podcast studio,
I know how good
right? But you're
I
doing the
tried.
best. You've even made this, for argument's sake, the last conversation we had about that. You have her on your side for that.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, you be careful. This is what your mom would tell you. Everything is like, wait till he has kids. You know what I mean? Like she's coming back to you in this whole new world way. You know what I mean? In a whole, not coming back to you. No, never mind.
Oh, okay.
No, you can only hope so. You can only hope. So your influence, you love your influence on Kai right now.
Yes.
So you said it's frustrating that influence didn't happen for her, but it was out of your control.
Yeah.
The whole
that's
baby
fair.
mama drama. You know what I mean? Like we're all on your side here,
Mhm.
and it's frustrating for everything that I know about it.
Mhm.
But I've only known Asmara for the year and a half that I've known it for here, and it's just like, it sucks for me. We couldn't give her the present that Tammy wanted to give. Like I feel for her in this situation because of the broken home.
Yeah.
So do you.
absolutely.
You get it. I'm not saying you
Absolutely.
don't, but I'm very fresh, so I only know this Asmara, right? And I can see the comparison, but I can see why the influence wasn't there,
Mhm.
and I can just like talk about, oh, well, at least you'll never, like as sad as that is for that, you'll never let that ever happen again. That's what
Mhm.
Selena loves about you. That's what's good about this whole story. But you can only recognize from that mistake. This mistake, you are trying to correct it as best you can,
Mhm.
right? Like but she's going to fight you every fine time. Just imagine trying to fight yourself. This is all Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. You've created it. Yeah. She's so much smarter than she deserves to be for a spoiled teenager.
It's
better than being a stupid teenager that thinks they're good at soccer, right? And her other influences in her life is sad that they, I'm not trying that can sway her in a path that you'll be all right, average, right? And you won't realize the hole you've put yourself in.
Yeah,
you won't realize that you're sleeping in a stranger's basement because you thought you could turn the whole world around your finger.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like, right? And so, but you can only take her so far. Right, like you can only say, "Hey, like, honey, don't get a tattoo on your neck or your face, like your face. You know what I mean? Don't get a full flower and just like." I know, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, but you can barely see it. But don't do that unless you really want to.
Yeah.
Right? That's fine. But if you did that when you were 12, right? Like, or whatever. I don't know when you did it.
Yeah. No,
right? Or without the information that you think you had.
I was 14.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to bring up respect.
I'm joking.
I'm sorry, man. You know what I mean? Like, be careful what you say. You're fucking with me here. But that's, you know what I mean? Like, you also don't want to live in a world where you don't get the tattoo you want.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Right? Don't go your whole life without buying the $300 bottle of tequila.
No.
And use your birthday as an excuse to go do it.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, and I hate when I hear the fighting of like that's just a stupid thing. I'm not bringing it into those, but you got to know that you're trying to fix that mistake, right? You're taking your experience and then just deal with it, right? Like it's I don't know why I trade the subject to make it so serious about. But like I hate when you think you've failed in that. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're sad.
I think I absolutely have. Because
but it's not all you.
It's like I know
she loves her mom,
but at the end of the day, when our kids are older, that's our representation. Like no matter how long we're gone, that's Brian.
So why have I never looked at it like that?
I don't know.
Because that's what I'm trying to see. I see her. I see Esmera for a separate person than you. I see her like it's different because your kids are just still cute. You know what I mean? Like they're still down there funny.
For now.
For now, but whatever. And so, but they don't live in the same frustration as, like your teenage daughter. And so we're watching them with all your training has gotten them in this whole world now of, never mind, sorry, going to school again, right? You've already gotten learning 2 languages, right? Like it's not I'm not even overcorrecting. You've seen so much of what you didn't get to do last time that you know what I mean? Like their mom is going to get to grow with you in them. You know what I mean? Like the thought of whatever happened with Esmera is never happening with them, right? And so that's not over for Esmera. She gets to make her bad tattoo on her neck when she's 14. I'm joking. You know what I mean? And just like, get to live with that and defend it and she'll become strong at doing that. You know what I mean? Like she's not stupid.
No.
And that's because of you too. But she's so smart. Like if you were in her position, you would manipulate it as much as her.
Probably. Right?
And you would get to be as mad as if you were your mom or dad. You know what I mean? Like be as frustrated about it.
Yeah.
But like, it's.
And so it's funny because you're saying how she's not stupid and whatnot. I agree. I don't think she's like completely stupid. Selena has this friend who her kid is like super smart. They've been saying she's smart. She's Esmera's age. They've been saying she's smart for like the past couple years. I first met this girl when she was probably like 6 or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? And so they, end of school and they got the report cards and her mom, they're not in the best situation. You know what I mean? They're not like the best financial type situation. They kind of struggled mostly. But this kid, like they've had a lot of
relationship. You like her mom?
I like her mom.
Okay.
Yeah, we're cool.
Nice.
Her husband, he kind of just left to the other side of the country. This is in the past like 5 years. It's not like
I already feel for this girl,
right? You know what I mean? She's cool. But yeah, so this girl is freaking super smart. And Selena told me before that she's smart. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Everybody says she's like, yeah, she says her daughter is smart. Nicole, her name is. She says her daughter is so smart. I'm like, yeah, well, everybody says their daughter is freaking smart, except for me. And then, and then she's like, yeah, they posted her report card. She's in grade 9. She posted her report card. Tell me why this girl's lowest mark was a 94.
She lives in the academic world.
How the fuck? But she never had any of these. Like, Esmera has all these opportunities to like not worry about everything else, while this other girl, and I've heard about a lot of like financial struggles with them, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of struggles. She has little opportunity. Jay, who the hell gets a 99 in science.
I don't know it personally. I'm only know anecdotal, like just like story wise. I don't know.
It's kind of crazy to think like even the smartest people I knew in high school, nobody got a fucking 99 in science, much more than anything else. Gym, sure, you can get a 99.
But that's why you love gym so much.
She got a 9. That was her lowest mark 94? In gym. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy. So I'm here thinking like, Asmara had like a great opportunity here.
I understand.
General,
yeah, I understand.
And she just didn't grasp it. And like, there's people who are doing way more with I don't want to say way less, but less. Like, why not just? It's
you're frustrated.
Yes.
I get it, but you see the big picture. Like, I don't. You can't. That's what that other girl likes to focus on. That's why, like, you notice how beautiful the ocean is. Like, and all of a sudden, just a stupid story about the Titanic. And why don't we do that? There's somebody that's been hugging the whales for 35 years is going like, I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, why don't we do this? Why are you paying attention? And then you can just say, well, because of this, or, you know what I mean? Like, because of more sports in schools. Like, I need my kid to grow up to be a good kid, so I want sports to be paid for. Sorry about the ocean. Mm-hmm. We'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But then somebody's like trying to concentrate on a different picture that we have no time to concentrate on. Your daughter is human. So she's concentrating on all the distractions.
For sure.
Right? And part of that is the voting, part of that, all these other things. And it's just, you wish for them to like it's hard. You're more rebellious than you think your kids might end up being.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's more of a, we don't like, it's part of why I don't like a church atmosphere, because you're just being told, you're just a sheep. You're just being told what to do. Right? Like, like more individualism. And so your kids, we're going to have a bit of a rebellion to them. By the time that they get to that point, you want them to have discipline with money, discipline with their bodies, discipline with.
Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to tell them, like, listen, this is what we have to do. Like, and they're arguing me, no. It essentially, it's like not verbally, but like in life, they're arguing with life. And I'm just sitting here, just sign the safety book. That's all I want you to do.
I know, but that's
because I'm telling you, we have to sign it. It's not a bad thing to sign it. Nothing's going to happen to you negatively.
Yeah, but somebody's whole world is HR or safety fucking related. And then they've been invited into this company that's grown from mom and pop to $35 million or whatever it is. Yeah. They say, well,
sounds like
these are part of the rules now.
Sounds like my salary.
If you want to be in this fucking birthday boy, congratulations. Yeah, so you got paid on your review.
Damn right.
Anyway, that's another sidebar. I didn't tell Tammy because I knew I would get a good review.
Yeah.
Right. And all my frustrations, like, even if fucking Ali puts like, oh, maybe you should shadow somebody. It's like, I wonder where he got that idea, right? And all this. And then we have this private conversation. I don't know why we couldn't have started this podcast hours ago. And to say like, hey, so you wouldn't be like, you bring up all the time, you say, oh yeah, you were brought up in this meeting, brought up in that meeting. And it's just like, some of it, I don't know what you're expecting, right? Like, when my area may be fucked with for this organization that we've briefly touched on here. Mm-hmm. Like, part of like, obviously the narrative is, oh, I don't want to be the one to tell him. But like, I'm more stubborn or too stubborn if I don't just go with the flow. Mm-hmm. Right? If you just give, for me, my overreaction, just give me a little bit of warning, then that's better than telling me in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm. That's being smart enough, like Tammy, to just like wait till he comes home and smokes a joint before I tell him I need to go to Buffalo for pick up a dress or something like that. Right? Like, and so why am I going to argue about going to Buffalo if she only asks like 4 times, like whatever, 2 or 3 times a year?
It seems like 4 times.
4 times might be too much. And that's what I can argue. That's what I can concentrate on. But that's a stupid world to live in.
Yeah, why?
And that's why you argue about this Mara. Why are you going to fight about woe is me when you have all of this? You could just, but wouldn't be friends with that 98% person. I would like lots about them. They'd probably hate lots more about
hilarious.
me.
Smart people are hilarious.
Of course. No, you have to be smart to be funny.
Yeah.
That's the best part about like a sense of humor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some people think they're too smart and they're funny. Isn't this funny?
Yeah.
And then that adds to the, you know what I mean? The delusion of that.
Yeah.
But then whatever. That's fine. Every now and then they say something funny.
Yeah.
Right? And then so if enough people want to go see Larry the Cable Guy, do you hate Larry the Cable Guy?
No.
Do you vote for Larry the Cable Guy?
No.
Of course. But go get yours, Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
You hate that fucking Instagram fucking, you know what I mean? Like, bitch who gets some kind of fucking money for advertising. No, I'll maybe stick on that before I swipe over or whatever more. Like, it's just, you don't hate the game, right? Or don't hate the player, hate the game.
I agree.
Right? That comes the whole voting thing or whatever. It's like, I'll live with Olivia Chow.
Yep.
You are right with like a Saunders take on it. Right. And that's true, but I'm not about to pick up a sign.
No.
Like, if I'm getting up early on Saturday, I'll go to see the kids play soccer or something stupid like that. I'll go pick up donuts for my wife or whatever. Right. Like, do some other good deed in my own little microcosm world. And so, yeah, how do I get Jay to wear safety glasses? Talk about this. So how do I get Jay to fucking do whatever? You know what I mean? Like, how do I have a conversation with Jay to say, do you like this or do you hate this place? Next time a new welder comes, will you do it for me? How do I have that real conversation with someone? And you do it. You don't mind doing that because you like confronting people in that mic. You know,
I do.
You like because you can affect our world.
Yeah, I say I'm going to talk to Jay about
Yeah, you affect our world.
I'm going to talk.
Hey, Brian, whatever you do, Brian, do not come to me and see me before fucking 6 o'clock because I gotta go. It's like, well, you know what? If I don't see him now, whatever, so I'm gonna make him late, and I'm gonna fucking say, it's like, oh well, he's not really gonna care. It's fun. It's worth it, right? It's fun. That's a whole different thing that you've made that world. So then it comes to a real thing. Like, do you want to leave this place better than you left it or not? Then I have a review, and then one of the 4 minus things that I had in my review was like, hey, or not. It was just like, how could this person improve? It's like maybe willing to shadow somebody. And I looked at that and I thought of you. Part of me was thinking of you as like, I wonder if Brian does these by himself. Like, I wondered if you were my Ali to somebody else, and you might have whatever, right? Like, you don't have to talk about that, right? Actually, like, so you'll eventually be that
next
for
year.
Sure. And so I didn't know you knew as much as you know about everybody else's fucking shit. But the fact that you knew my score told me enough. And so but I don't put the stock into it. That's just like whatever comes to my relationship with whatever it is. But I'd be a fool to concentrate on the negatives of that. And so you almost prepared me to see that comment. And so I could be like, oh man, I can't argue that their training here sucks. I can't argue that they just hire anybody that can hold a welder. Like, well, do you want to be a boss and like try to make this better? Fuck you. And then you're like, okay, you know, I get it, right? And so, but that's an argument that's is above my pay grade, right? Like, I don't want to make that part of my microcosm world. So, but then like, I come to this relationship here, and then so you go, well, do you like it or not? Yeah. Well, would you? So, what's one of your good ideas? And I say, well, you know, shadowing people are good. And then you go, I agree because I did it with Marcel, a really good guy that knew when I was new was good to me.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a perfect example. Ron did that to me for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I've seen Ron do that with other people. And it's like, yeah, you know what? That's a great idea, huh? Yeah. Jay, would you be willing?
Damn right.
And I'm like, who am I? I find myself in a position to be like, rubber meets the road. I'd be like, you know what? I could say no. I could say, yeah, you know, this is just a job to me. And I won't do that. But you made me say yes.
Yeah, I already got you.
I know. And then so Ali gives me a review where it's on paper. I'm like, God damn. This is like infested. This is why it's my microcosm's in the Matrix or something. And that's why this is episode 86. It's, you know, part of the Matrix.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to fight it. I think that's going to happen sooner than later. And I'd rather happen with a guy that's already there that we've talked about. No character to talk about much on this show. He'll could probably get there if he ends up being my shadow. Can you imagine?
Oh man! But
so
like,
I have to agree that I'd take him as a shadow.
And that's a thing, because like, that is basically leaving you. That's basically being a mental statue. Because I know for me, that I will. If anybody ever asks me anything about how I learned the majority of this job, I'm going to say it's because of Marcel. I'm going to say most of everything I learned. The reason I'm still here is because of him. Yeah. And I said it before to people on the floor, and I'm going to say it all the time because that's the truth. We could have is because of Jay. Jay
it might be the beginning.
Everything.
So I've decided, or in a way.
Yes, you have.
Because it's no.
I want that person to be there. Like, if you're going to retire, you're going to retire before 20 years?
Yes.
20 years from now, if I'm still in this company, I want to be like,
number.
Oh, fuck.
You can even go to 15.
15? Oh, Jay, relax. Chill out.
Easy number.
I want that person to be like, yeah, Jay, oh, man, you have a nice bay. Yeah, this was Jay's bay. This is the guy who trained me, taught me everything, man.
Nobody's going to say that.
Of course. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'll get it. Okay.
Alvin says that right now, and he's only been working with Ron for like a month and a half.
So this is part of the whole woke fucking culture that I'll accept that as a ask of somebody like you more than I would from just my boss at work. Right? This is why you are that's what makes you good at it. That's what gives me that ability, because it's like, just if you can't beat them, join them type of why, you know what I mean? You might agree with the truckers, but I'm not going to join them. Might agree with saving the whales, but I got other things to do. I might recognize it, but it's not you're going to concentrate on.
Absolutely.
The more you respect it, the more you concentrate on. Like respect their decisions or whatever in life to concentrate on. Thank God somebody's doing it. Imagine how fucked it would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and what have you. And I think it'll get better. And it gets into a more construct where, like, yeah, thank God more liberal ideas come. If everybody voted for Doug Ford, it wouldn't be a better place. We need Olivia Chow's voice to come in there and be whatever, more programs for something I don't even think about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I think of my liberal ideas, I don't have kids at school. So you don't need kids to have their breakfast at school. So you might but you might understand why some kids might.
Absolutely.
Right? But I might be like, well, what the fuck? Like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make your kids some scrambled eggs before you go.
Mm-hmm.
You might be a bad mom if you can't, because I look at something like Selena, who would be more respectful, in my opinion, just in my situation, to say, you've taken control of things, right? And you're not going to let your kids grow up that way.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but who am I to say somebody that doesn't need that for a legit decision? Right. And so whatever. So I agree with you. We get my microcosm thing. If shadowing is a thing people should do, it's going to happen. If you're going to help this place grow and that's one of your ideas, then just like you steal David's ideas, I'll say, you can steal this idea. Go tell them that I'll shadow.
Fucking yeah.
So if I say you can do that.
I'm going to do one better.
No, but if you say that, then what's going to happen is going to some new guy, one of Booby's friends. And I'm like, I might not want to do that.
Well, you know.
But how can I control that? I can take a guy who's already been there.
That's why I got your back, Jay.
No, this is where I get to be the politician.
Back. I could be like.
I can recognize this is already happening.
Ali could be like, oh, I'm going to give this new guy to Jay. I'm like, no. You know what? This other guy would be better.
I know.
We could, Jay, we could work it together.
This is where, so that's just saying we've gone to that point now. I'm
going to go in the office and say, I convinced Jay.
Yes.
This is exactly what I'm going to say.
I'm letting you have that.
I convinced Jay.
Happy fucking birthday.
I'm just letting you, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I convinced Jay to do this, and this.
I've recognized that.
Next thing you know, Jay is sitting at the desk. Wait, what?
You ever think Jay's at a desk?
You never know.
Yeah, God help me if that. Yeah, so one day I'll wake up like the office guy, like Kurt Russell, that just takes an empty suitcase and goes ballistic on his way to work one day.
And it sits in the car and says, "This all started with a Raptors conversation."
Oh, how dare you! You wish it was that fucking binary, that fucking easy.
It's never that easy.
We fucking know what I wanted to talk about. This is crazy. You have a friend going camping now.
Yes.
What are you going to say?
I have something I want to talk about that it just dawned on me.
Go ahead. Quick. No, because camping's written there. I'll remember it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, this might go a little longer.
It was just a camping update. So I told a story and I had it backwards. And the first time I took Tammy camping, it was in a tent for like a Jack and Jill. Somebody got married in Vegas maybe or something, and they came back. We had a party at a friend's cottage. So many people were there. We had a trailer and it was rainy. She managed to hold it for one day. She took a picture of me on a Muskoka chair that she still has as some kind of screensaver. Like
really?
We got it from my mom's. Like this is maybe more sad. It was a picture she gave my mom that we just got back, and so it was one of a good experience. But she could only handle a day. Mm-hmm. Like I made her drive all the way. We drove all the way back from Bancroft after one night in this rainy, lopsided fucking tent.
God damn.
It was horrible. But all my friends, like Sammy still does it. Like all my friends love to do it. And this is that part of that camping. This is why it's a whole sidebar. But that's all part of our camping conversation. Never mind who does this. But they all did it, so I want to do it. So she did it. Managed one day. However many weeks passed, I don't even know if there's a year later. But my friend says, "Oh, come to my trailer, Sammy. Come to my trailer." Go. So I don't know if she sucked it up. She's going to do it. And so we stayed. So we fucking got to the place 4 hours later. It was dark by then. And it's just a trailer. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not, it's like, you know, and so apparently in hindsight, she told me when I tell the story, I told her the trailer, it'd be better than the tent. Like it's a trailer. Come on.
It's gotta
suck
be
it up.
better.
You'll be drunk anyway, but she would. And so we get out of the car, we all stretch. People are by the fire, all this stuff. We get fucking, she goes to the trailer to check it out or whatever. I grab the cooler or fucking sleeping bags. I get into the trailer and she's sitting on the bed crying. She's like, she just whatever, ready to hate the experience. And so that was the last time I made her go.
Damn. Well, so does she hate the experience?
She hated the experience, and she also hated being around a whole bunch of drunk people around the fire when she's not drunk.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't blame those people.
No.
But she had no desire to go. She was outside last night when I was barbecuing. She had a gummy in her and she watching me barbecue, burn my burgers. And she was like out there for like 3 minutes because she was like, I just got fucking bitten by a mosquito. But she managed to hang out that. So anyway, it was a whole, I misrepresented the story. I said it somehow different. But that was the last time we went camping.
And have you ever brought it up or asked her to go again?
No, I don't want to.
Are you ever going
If
to?
I go again, I'd go by myself. I don't know if I've went once since by her.
How do you know she hasn't had a change of heart since?
Because we had this conversation. She was laughing at it. She remembered it vividly.
Oh.
And she's so traumatized.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, I don't know who fucking Kev's going up camping with or whatever. And I don't know how experienced they are at camping or how many times he goes.
Well, he goes camping a lot.
And does she go camping a lot?
Portaging. Yeah, she
seems to go along with a lot of what he wants to do.
Yeah, so she does camp, like she has like a cottage that's far.
Yeah,
she
so that's a whole different
90% of her summers over there. So she had a friend coming down from Newfoundland, and he didn't want to go. He said he didn't want to go camping. He had an episode to record. We were having like a game night for that episode. So we were having like a game night with couples, and she wasn't gonna go because this plan was made. So he was just gonna come. But now she's upset, so now he has to go. Yeah.
So that's more hardcore.
Yeah.
I never got upset about having to go or not.
Yeah.
Right? Like it wasn't worth it to me.
No. Just sign the freaking book.
It was more like I'd rather hang out with her than most of my friends at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like she has a cottage, she lives that life.
You're saying your friends suck?
She might some of their friends might suck.
Oh yeah.
Is that okay? Is that like my friend? Like, how long does a tree go?
Yeah, exactly.
Camping is a communal experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, people do this? Never mind all the trailer parks you drive by, going to the one fucking in Bancroft. And she's the type of person that's like, I guess I get why you like coming here, but I'd rather be in air conditioning.
That's
I'd rather
hilarious.
go. You what?
I've been in a cottage in Bancroft. It was like the first cottage experience I ever had.
It's far, right?
Yeah.
You remember that part?
Yeah. Well, the guy whose cottage we went to, he used to ride his bicycle to fucking Bancroft.
No.
I swear.
How many days did that take?
I think it was like 2.5 or some shit.
So
he told me how I asked him like what he ate. Yeah, right. I asked him Pickering. I asked him what he ate, and he's like, he just ate granola because it gives you the best energy. And like he would, Jay, this guy would tell me that when it was time to sleep, he would find a truck trailer and just sleep in the back of it.
What's wrong with these people?
I have no clue.
I mean, whatever, man. I guess
I know, but yeah, sorry. That's why Bancroft. I was like, holy,
that's hilarious. Well, that's where my friends, and that's who I hung out at the time. It wasn't who I hung out with from 17 to 22. But it's who I hung out with from 22 to 30, right? And I didn't buy myself a tree, you know what I mean? But I had a dirt bike, and I loved that's what I loved about it. I loved going dirt biking.
Yeah.
And that was a very small community. But, that became less important or whatever it was. And Tammy became more important than going up north with them.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them all the time, you know what I mean? I didn't have to go. The excuse for this or whatever is like, oh, I got to escape the city. And it's just like, I'm like, what's wrong with the city?
Nothing.
Right? That's all that argument. So whatever. I never forced that to her, right? Like it was more like, I think it has to do with alcohol or whatever. It's more, like I was there getting drunk with my friends.
Do you like alcohol?
You like alcohol. You know what I mean? Like, so, whatever. But I totally derailed you. I was just trying to say, like, you wanted to say something before. You remember what it is?
But I'm going to probably leave it for next week.
How dare you? What?
Because I wanted to talk about, it's a serious subject. It's the whole Bill C-18.
Oh, wow. How did you have that in your face? I was going to bring that up, I think.
It's been in my face, but I just haven't given any thought about it.
What is it?
So it's like an internet type of, what do we say? It's not really censorship, but it's along those lines.
Government guidelines or restrictions?
For the benefit of Canadian media, essentially, is what the gist of it is.
Is that what the CRTC is? Is that the Canadian Radio and Television Communications?
They're part of that.
Right?
They probably really wanted that bill. So this is the reason why you see a lot of Netflix movies that are filmed in Canada.
Well, this is part of the situation why people have VPNs so they can watch Norway Netflix, or even US Netflix.
Yes.
We've all known that there's a difference between Canadian Netflix and other countries.
All the other countries, for sure. But a lot of these films have to be, so Netflix, for example, they have to produce a certain percentage of their films in Canada.
So I've recognized that as a rule that's always been in a CRTC type of way. I've known that music on radio has to be a certain percentage Canadian.
Absolutely.
And that's why I know about Maestro Fresh West.
Yep.
That might be why I know about Cardinal Fischel.
Which is overall a good thing.
I think so.
Okay. So
I think the idea is a good thing.
So they did the same thing. Bill C-18 is the same thing with news media on the internet. So
I know
right now, Facebook and Google have decided to pull all news links from their platforms because of this bill.
So what is that? So Facebook doesn't allow Canadian news links on their website?
They do, but they don't want to go through the money and stuff to produce and to enforce having a certain percentage. So is that like
Shreddy? The Nabisco doesn't want to sell Shreddies without putting the French label on their boxes.
No, it's like
they have to sell Shreddies here, or anything. You have to put the French label on.
I mean, yes, essentially, I guess, yeah.
Right. So don't either sell here. Like I've always known that Toys R Us in Canada is different than Toys R Us America.
Yeah.
And so I like that. That means we're not dictated by another country.
That's true, but what do you do when they decide to do what these companies are doing and completely pull out? Like, so
I get it. I don't know.
I
get what
use
you're trying
Google
to say,
news feeds a lot on my phone. It's like it's one swipe to the left, like where you guys have your widgets.
Yeah.
Right? That's where our Google news feed is. And I use that regularly. I that's part of my daily routine of using my phone.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna pull all those links.
Google is.
Yes.
Not the Canadian government. The Canadian government made rules, but Google doesn't like those rules.
Doesn't like those rules. So what they wanted, they just gonna pull everything. Because they also, you can't put unverified news links. So it has to be like one of the big media news. It has to be CP24, NBC. It has to be one of those to be put on these news feeds. Same thing with Facebook.
Yeah.
And same thing with all companies. So I think this is going to start going down the line a little more, like all these news apps and stuff. Like, have you ever used Flipboard?
You think it's too hard line?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. I think...
you think the rules, like, do you think there should be a medium, or do you think it should not exist at all?
I think that part should have never have been in it, because I think we're at the, like, enforcing, part? Because part of their reasoning was attacking real news and attacking fake news. But the problem with that is that Jay can go out and start his own news media, and Jay is 100% honest. You believe everything Jay says, right? Jay is not pushing an agenda. He's not being a conspiracy theorist. He's doing like legit news, and that won't be allowed.
Well, I don't have a real answer. I mean, I'm not putting all my trust into the government.
Yeah.
Like I'm not pro-government. I'm not like, but I'm just like, I'll just pay my taxes when I can. But you know what I mean? Like I'm not an anarchist, but I love anarchy.
Yeah.
So I hate it too. I hate the control aspect of it, but I think I hate fake news more. I don't know how you correct.
I don't
know how you correct fake news.
I think it's more of a thing of, I think we're at the day and age where we're old enough in technology to be able to decipher these things. I know you know a fake news from a real news, right?
Yeah. I wish Google would work with it instead of abandon it.
I do.
Like
too.
I'm more mad at. So in that situation, I'm more mad at Google than the government.
But they're all doing it now. So is Twitter's going to do the same thing?
Okay, so if it's so bad, then they'll repeal it.
Will they?
I don't know. I don't know how much it affects me. I feel for you. I don't know how
it'll affect you when all the news links from Apple, they're going to have to pull it too, or they're going to have to just go into it. All these media and smart tech companies are going to have to either make a decision to do one or the other. And the problem with Canada is the market that big that they're really going to want to do it? We're 10% of the population of
every
the United
percentage
States.
Is mined for fucking what it can give you
for sure.
in any world. So I think it's again, I'm going to sound like a libtard. If you can watch a world where Google submits to China instead of having China take it over and having their, you know what I mean? And then it's like, well, how could Google work with China? It's so oppressive. Their ideas are so oppressive. It's just like, I'd rather them, whatever. I'd rather than like figure something out there. I'd rather just imagine a world where China becomes more Googled than Google, but it seems so taken over, like China getting their way.
But
the good things of our social network and like community in Canada, which allows things to happen, you know what I mean? Like in a way, in a social change that might be over the top, but is actually more positive, is more of a universal basic income kind of way. If like AI takes over in certain types and more of a welfare state that I hate welfare. I'm not saying, but who am I? Who am I to say that doesn't change? It has to be kind of forced. And I'd rather Google work with that huge liberal idea of getting fake news out. China's idea of fake news and Canada's fake idea of news is you can compare them as the same, but you can compare them as total opposites on that Venn diagram
Absolutely,
I'm talking about.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want when it comes to things such as news, government funded news. Look at just recently how it came out that they were saying that whatever news media was funded by the government. Now you want that to be the only things on your feed?
I don't.
That kind of things. Like that just seems like an
Google can
agenda.
stop that.
Seems like an agenda to me.
Yeah,
and I think it's gonna affect us more because I think these are two of the biggest companies, are the first ones to do it, and 3. It's going to be Twitter, Google, and Facebook are going to be the first big companies to stop doing the feeds. What else do you have?
You still
Everybody
know to get what you want to get.
With them.
You still know how to get what you want.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so anybody that's worth their weight in salt will still know. You recognize this. So it's rather to see the stupid idea than to find out this bill passed in fucking secret.
Because it just seems like the government wants to be able to filter what they give us.
So in the States, I just think it's the same old. When the States, when they do shit like the Patriot Act or do all these things, and you find it's like passed at midnight on a Sunday and all these whatever weird things and all the hidden things they put into bills to get them passed for their own inside politics. It's just the way the fucking shit works.
For sure, but we're talking about like something on like a map. We're talking about news. We're not talking about a slight tax difference or a percentage in tax. We're talking about there's no way they could pull that in the States and not be able to have independent news media.
When you hear that Facebook and Cambridge Analytics and all that stuff had like sway on pushing agendas of like pull away, that's Facebook's either unintentional consequences of influencing the public in a certain way, and it's just a private company.
Yeah,
like that's a private company. They earned that spot in the life, but
they
abused it. Abused it for advertising money.
But some people don't abuse it.
No, I get it, but how do you weed out the fucking good and the bad? Like I'm not trying to throw out the baby in bathwater.
You just cut them all off. Cut off.
No,
the tail?
That's them. Okay, but how? I don't know. I guess my hope is that they realize how stupid of a bill it is, and they repeal certain aspects of it. That's a part of democracy. Hearing the good idea. And then Google, but wow, why would a necessity like Google become that like idealized or you know what I mean, like think of that like in a way like that? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, how do we work with you to get it back? And say start doing it. And I'm saying like, well, if you can't even put just French on the box because that's our national, you know what I mean? Like then that's a little bit on you. Mm-hmm. And you're right, it's way more than that. Like because it's ideas, it's fucking news. Right, but we're so confused with what news is, and I really don't trust it to be Trudeau's news. Mm-hmm. And then that might just like, so now what? We love CP24.
Well,
so now is this going to make you hate CP20? Do you think it's just government run now?
No,
they're pushing Trudeau's agenda.
No, I just feel like I don't like putting all my trust into one thing. Like I said,
me too.
If I see a news story, there's a damn sure I'm verifying at least once or twice. You know what I mean? I'm looking at other sources at least just to make sure, unless it's something minor.
We talked about my fire hole of Twitter and YouTube. And well, that's just your algorithm, Jay.
Yeah.
Right? Like mine's totally different. It's got tech stuff. And how do you not know about these TVs? It's just like what you decide to concentrate on.
Yeah.
But you can affect what TV you have. You can affect our conversation. And like, I agree with it. When it's this idea, and this is what happens. Like, oh my God, like this stupid Canadian, been so liberal ideas and all this. And like, look at what you've done. You've now put this bill into pass and we're cut off from the world. That seems like such a extreme take. Mm-hmm. I can see it, but that's like the part of me that just like, and I think it's not just you're saying the idea, but it's like, yeah, I don't want to live in that world where that's true. I'm still going to get up and go to work. The sun's going to shine tomorrow.
For sure.
Right? Like it's true, but I think it would work out. Like I can still find the news. It actually makes it more apparent when it's fake. I was saying how much I love the AI stuff. You go, why live in that world when you can live in the vinyl world? You know what I mean? Know that it was real. It's not, and just like that's way more like you're an idiot if you live in that other world. Mm-hmm. It's like I guess I understand, but that's fine. But it's so inconsequential to the bill you're passing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It doesn't affect me. I don't think because I'm like you. If I want to find my news, I'll find it. If I want to find out a YouTube Egypt rabbit hole, then I can go get lost in a good one or a bad one.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's up to me. I'm not going to argue with which one Frankie, who said, no, this is a good one. Mm-hmm, no, it's aliens. Frankie, this conversation is never happening. Like, see ya. Or I can live like, you know what I mean? Like, why do that?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's going to get bad. I'm still seeing all the bad articles about Egypt and all the other bad. I think it's worse.
Weeks, don't worry.
I think it's worse. The news. Okay, this is a states thing. What do you know? I told you about this. They took positive affirmation, something about race stuff in colleges, where like colleges had a certain percent. They couldn't, if they wanted to be all white, they couldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, and it was harder for Asians to get into like UCLA because a lot of them were applying there and they came from a privileged society to do that. And Obama was tweeting like this bill that was just like bills, they come and go. This bill that was once there, him and Michelle Obama would not have been allowed to, wouldn't have maybe made it to the university. I think that's a stretch too, right? I think they might have been all right. Who knows? But it's like, well, how, like this is a consequential bill because Trump got to vote in presidents or judges into the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So that seems like a more real thing to me. It's not my country, right? Like, so, but that's a more, because it's the states, it has a more, like, what kind of consequences is that going to have? That's a bill that you don't even know about.
Yeah, but it's not part of your everyday life like a news link is.
No, you're right there.
Or like a, like
I guess I don't know why I'm trying to fit it in.
How many times a day do you see a news article pop up on your phone?
No, but I don't believe most of what I see anyway.
You don't, but you can see and be like, so even the Titanic sub, when I first read it, I didn't believe that shit. And then I seen another one, I was like, huh. Then I Googled it and I went to a website. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And so we're not going to have that option. You're going to see it. And you know that video that they show with all the news people saying the same thing?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to have. It's literally what we're going to have.
But we have that now.
But we have other options. Now it's going to be harder to go to those other options. But
how do you stop that from happening without an extreme measure of some kind?
You don't really stop it.
Because that thing exists.
You don't stop it.
You don't think it happens here?
Of course, but that's only we're going to get when they pull all the other media.
You think this
links.
Is leading to more of it? You think the rules in place have let that happen? So how is not new rules that might be intended to change that not happen?
Because letting that happen, I don't think was the problem. I think giving that your only source of
I see.
It's like if you listen
That's ignoring what else is out there.
Exactly. If you listen to Tariq every day, you're going to go crazy. If he's the only person you listen to tell you about this company and everything, you're going to go crazy.
I don't know why I'm defending it so much. So I'm not aware that that's about to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really what's about to happen.
Well, I want to talk about it next week so you can look into it.
Okay, I get it.
I can look into it even more because I want to see other parts of the bill. I've heard of other parts. In the tech YouTube world.
It's funny, that's how you brought it up.
Yeah, in the tech YouTube world, this bill has been coming down for like.
Okay, next week.
I need to say something. This bill has been coming down for a few years.
Yeah.
So I've been following it for a while in general.
Okay, I'm sorry to be so disrespectful.
No.
I'm going to apologize because it's your birthday. I should be more.
No, Jay, I don't want to hear that.
I should be more. For some reason, I just want to argue with you for the sake of arguing with you.
That's the point.
I just think in my grandfathered in type of way, it doesn't affect me as much. But you're right. I appreciate and respect. I'm going to respect your opinion on it. I'm trying to automatically
next week.
I'm trying to automatically come off the ledge about it, or the end of the world type of thing about it, and. In a way, whatever, that hopefully a more liberal idea comes from whatever. I'll talk about it next week.
Okay, right? Good.
What was I going to fucking say about? I'll give you one more tip for not getting old. What you might have to look forward to, but if you follow your own discipline that you got the kids doing now, they'll concentrate on the mistakes that happen with his mayor, but what you still could positively influence. And how I'm out of shape kind of guy, but how can you be better? How can you be more happy at work? Whatever, you got better going on than me. So I finally went to physio.
Yes.
Right? Like you wanted to hear about like physio.
Yes.
So that's apparent to you, like, cause you even do like talk therapy, which God knows I could use too, right? So it's funny how stubborn I am in those situations, or how you can look at it in a way of like you don't take advantage of what's available to you. We got benefit plans and all that. So I've just been limping around, complaining, but I've been I can rest on I'm still doing exercises. I'm trying and all that stuff. So I'm complaining about a leg. Talking about going to physio. So I finally went. I don't know if I talked about it on air, but I talked about it for you for sure. Like my first time was underwhelming. If you can remember, you were like, how did physio go? I go, I went, but she seemed kind of uninterested. And I'm like, but part of it was maybe she's seen so many people come there only once. And so many people are like, they want a magic solution. I don't want to be accused of one of them. So that's maybe why I don't go, but I'm part of that too. So I'm like, I get maybe why she's not as invested. But she did some shit. She's like, oh yeah, you're tight here. You're weak muscled here. And you should do that. I'm like, that all makes sense. And so I already did a bunch of different exercises. I go on the treadmill type of stuff. try to do it at least 4 times a week, but I know every day is type of thing. They're drill sergeant, but anyway, maybe 3 times a week. But the fact is, I was trying to do enough, and then when I still have a sore leg, I go, God, this sucks. So maybe I should do better exercises. That's why I went to physio. And so she gave me a couple different exercises. So I tried. And I was like, I didn't like how she was disinterested. But I'll go again. So I went again. And in hindsight, like it was decent. I was trying to build a relationship with her, and she was like, "Oh, this and that." She was like, "Yeah, maybe we should put like some weights on it." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm a little nervous about that because it sometimes feels weak." So maybe she goes, "Okay, we'll do some more reps and this and that." So she gave me like 4 more exercises to add to my routine that had like 10 other exercises going. I leave that appointment thinking, "Okay, I'm doing something good for myself." I kind of at times felt better about the new strength I had with these little gay exercises I was doing, and whatever. I don't think I gloated to you about it or whatever, but I was feeling decent, right? But okay, you old man, you can't complain about being old. You can just take care of it yourself. So I'm trying to make another appointment after my second, and the receptionist goes, "Oh, she's leaving us."
What?
And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, she's not going to be here." And I'm like, and right, so I'm like, no wonder she's disinterested. I'm like, God damn. Like, what? I didn't get as much as I should have got out of that. But whatever, it wasn't a total waste of money. At least I kind of learned something. She's like, "Do you want an appointment with somebody else?" I'm like, fuck, a little bit mad about the whole situation, and just like, nah, just don't let that give you personal gain, like stop you from having personal gain. Okay, well, who else has one at 6:30? I need some kind of at 6:30, maybe next week, a couple weeks. She goes, okay, well, Julio has one. Yeah, I was like, Julio. Like, well, whatever. Okay, you know what? Book me with Julio. I'm here. Whatever. I want this. This is a life decision. I can't just be frustrated in this situation.
Yeah.
My leg sucks. I need some help. You know what I mean? Like what can I do about it? Okay, Julio, what you got? So I was like, okay, and I didn't really think much of the her leaving, and maybe that's why she was disinterested. But I stopped going on the treadmill. I was doing my leg lifts and all that kind of shit. And so a couple weeks went by. I was feeling decent enough about myself, and I was thinking about fuck Julio. Not thinking fuck Julio, but I was thinking forget about Julio. Sorry, different story. Next week. Oh, wait, anyway. What? And so I was like, forget it. You know what? I'm doing good now. I'll just put some like ankle weights on. I'll just do the same exercises that fucking uninterested chick did. And I don't need Julio. I was like, yeah, but you know what? A fresh perspective. Brian's perspective changes your mind all the time.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Julio?
Exactly.
Don't be so disrespectful, right?
That's a cool name.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so I'm like, as the days were leading up and it got where I couldn't cancel, like you're smart enough to cancel. I was like, oh, Brian canceled. Maybe I got to cancel by Thursday. So I let it go. I was like, okay, I'm going to go see Julio. Right away. Fucking Julio's handsome as much as you might think. Right away, he's fucking engaged. He's got a laptop in his hand. He was a little bit late dealing with another person or whatever, comes up, boom. We go to a whole different area of this building, like in this room. And he's like, okay, what's up? And or what do you say? He goes, so what's going on? I try to retell the story. He goes, oh, okay, I see this, that. Right away, he grabs my leg and he's like, oh my God. And he's like, your hip, like that is so tight. And he bends it around. He hears my question and he goes, you might have severe arthritis in your hip.
What?
Like in a matter of 5 minutes meeting him, he's grabbed my leg. He's put a belt around my, like he's done some things, whatever. Right? He grabs a belt, puts it like my bent leg. I'm lying down on the bench, and he's like attached it to himself, and he's like kind of manipulating around. And he's like, he goes, "You might be a candidate," and he doesn't look like he goes for a hip replacement.
What,
Brian? That's what he said to me.
What the fuck?
I'm like, I said the what the fuck? He goes, I know that's scary. I know. I go. Well, first of all, I think my knees are worse off than my hip. He goes, no, He goes, I know it's scary. He goes, you got to go to your doctor and get an X-ray for your hip. So I procrastinated. I haven't done it yet. I'm not going to see Julio for another couple of weeks. But so he says that to me, and it all starts making sense. Like this is where I'm like, am I that old? He goes, don't. He goes, I know you're a young guy, and I'm like, I know I'm not. I go, but like, oh my, that makes you feel so past your prime.
Oh, that's not what I thought.
And so I'm like fucking like, and so, but anyway, I'll ask, what are your thoughts on that?
My first thought was Percocets.
I can't. I'm too Jay, addictive to take those things.
I will take them off your hands.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe next birthday. We'll collect them. Okay. So short story long. So he says that.
Whoa.
Next week?
Relax, Jay. 1 second. You just told me you could potentially get a hip replacement? What the fuck?
I know. It's one way. I don't want to concentrate on how scary it sounds. Not to get the procedure. I'm all about technology. You fix me up.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm like, well, fuck.
That's not a small thing, though.
No, it's major, massive. Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, well, like, I don't know. Part of me is like, I think it's a lifetime of just compensating this knee joint, like the hip bone's connected to the leg bone, connected to the knee bone. Like it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Like it also makes sense of like where the pain originates.
Yeah.
Right.
So, how, are you for this? Like if
overall I am.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
I'm also I think that's the extreme look on it.
Because
I think also could be muscle unengagement, like weak muscle, like it could be everything all just tightened up on that hip area. I think if I live with the pain of my knee arthritis and it's in my I have it, like I'm all crunchy and all like that. It makes sense of why I get pain and where I have. But I think so this is another thing. So he sees this right away and he asked, what exercises am I doing? And what did she show me? So I show him the 4. He says, okay, don't do any of those. The 4 exercises that she told me to do and where she put the ultrasound was all on this IT band on my leg. And he just concentrated on the hip. He said, the exercise, no, that's actually what you shouldn't do. And so I got really mad. Like, why was I told this for 2? Like, imagine that was the only news source I had.
Yeah.
Right? Like I do believe you more than I want to argue with you on that whole Bill thing next week. But I'm like, fuck. And so I'm falling in love with Julio as he's telling me, like, Julio wants to fix me.
Was he glowing?
He was so smart. Like, you never mind. Like, he was as smart as you think you are. But
exactly.
He was fucking telling me, he goes, okay, well, talking about therapy stuff. He said, it could be muscles. He said, but I'm sure it is. Like, he heard something. He had my fucking leg attached to him as he was fucking moving around and doing shit, right? And he was saying why you shouldn't do this, why do these exercises, take it slow. He said, you can go on the bike. And I felt great for the 3 days I've done, 2 days that I've done shit that he's told me, right? Like I didn't do anything, I'm still slacked. I slacked yesterday and today, but whatever. I love it when I feel good. So, but I think I might be on a good path with that. That might be the end result. And I don't know if I should fight that, but I don't want to be out of work for that amount of time. Like overall it might be good too. But I also think if I give it some other therapy. So he didn't just do that. He gave me other, but so I have that acupuncture and he's asked if I'd done that before. I said, oh yeah, it feels great. So we did this thing called like dry needles. I don't know if they're bigger than acupuncture or how different they are than acupuncture, but he does basically acupuncture and he pokes needles down your muscle and he like makes them spasm and do all this, whatever. It's kind of blood flow shit or whatever. And it's painful. It was fucking painful.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
But so that makes me feel that it's not just the hip joint. 1000% the muscles can be better that are around the hip. If the hip is in such a aged state or state like that, the muscles definitely don't have to be. I might not be able to change the hip because it's a hardware, right? Like, but the muscles are in my power.
Absolutely.
Right? Like that's what Julio was also trying to tell you too, right? Like it's like, so he gave me these other exercises. So yeah, like I've procrastinated so far on that I mean, let's just say this, it's not the hip and my muscles are just so fucking tight around there that he thinks it's like it's so bad that it's your hip. But I also might need a hip replacement. That's, fuck. How should I fight? You just had your stepdad or your father-in-law have fucking knee replacement.
Yep.
Right? Like how long did he wait for doing that when he should have done it years ago? That didn't just happen to him.
He should have had it years ago. He's had bad
so do I want to be
wild time.
10 years from now thinking I should have done it then?
Well, actually,
because I thought I was too young to get a hip replacement?
No, you should do it as soon as possible. Actually, Selena's mom's boyfriend, who they've been together for a while, had a hip replacement recently too.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And honestly, it's kind of crazy to think that the world we live in nowadays, like these guys are up and walking within a week. It's not like freaking months out of like not walking. Like Selena's stepdad who had the knee replacement is already thinking he can drive now.
That'll be me soon.
Oh, Jay, you'll be back to work in 1 week. No,
that's the problem. I think if I have to fucking stay off work as long as Danny did, it'll be very hard to come back. Yeah. But you know what's another? This is what's getting into. How can I make that experience better? So if I fucking take Kyle and shadow him, and then when I come back, my area will be exactly how I told Kyle to leave.
That is true,
right? Like this is where you like just if you can't beat him, join him.
But I would be very concerned about who you're talking to because Kyle doesn't exist.
Oh, it's Jim. I guess if he ends up being my shadow, I'll figure out about it. And those will be very many episodes we can talk about how bad that'll go.
Absolutely.
Fuck birthday boy. I mean, we can go on forever, but you got better things to do than talk to me, I'm sure.
Jay, you want to talk some more?
No, man. We got to give these people next week, my friend.
Yes. I want to thank everybody for listening to the Work Related Podcast.
Oh, we were a week off, but hopefully we'll be back next week, guys. We are Related by Work on Twitter, and we'll see if Brian shares any of his birthday presents that he gets.
Maybe.
Oh, we're about to jump this house up with the boys. Hey, it's a whole birthday more month.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to end with us loading up their clean toy room up.
Oh, great.
Just at the beginning of the weekend.
It's
So
sounding
enjoy.
worse.
Happy birthday. See you guys next week.